right, let me refresh this. Why my other phone is so dark, I have no idea, but that's okay. All right. So this evening, I'm just jumping on here. We're going to chat. We're going to do some things and some stuff. And I'm going to pull some birth charts. See how y'all's, 2023 is going to go. So there we go. I would like for you to work correctly. That's what I would like to happen. There we go. Or not. Don't you love it? Like, don't you love it when that happens? Like, I really just need you to be like a normal website, and I need you to work correctly. Let's see who's first on my list. So don't worry, guys, thank you, Abigail. So don't be stressed if you can't stay and watch your whole read. I am streaming on YouTube. Don't be afraid if we break TikTok again. I'm streaming on YouTube. And if I break YouTube, I'm streaming on TikTok. Ka-cha. Hey, North Alabama, how are you? And thank you to whoever said they liked my eyelashes. I appreciate that. How are we, guys? How are we? Alrighty then. So first I have Miss Donna Trout, and look at you. You beat Christine Carver? How'd you beat Christine Carver? Sorry. Christine's usually on the ball. That's funny. That's funny. All right. So Miss Donna, let me pull up your chart here. Pretty sure I already have you in here. Have I never pulled your birth chart? What? What? She is quick, isn't she? How have I never pulled Donna's birth chart? All right. Let's find out. Squeaky clean new little chart for you. Man, the temperature here has been just plummeting, and I don't like it. I'm freezing my ass off. All right. So, in doing these reads, thank you guys. I appreciate that. In doing these reads, what I do is I'm going to pull your birth chart. I'm going to look at right now. Then I'm going to forward it to today. Okay. Well, I'm going to look at when you're born, and then I'm going to forward it to today. There we go. Words are fun. Then once I forward it to today, I'm going to look at kind of what's going on in your life right now. And then I'm going to forward it a year. So I'm going to see what changes within that year. Now, there's going to be little things that shift and change. This is like an overview, the main overview of how the next year is going to change, shift, etc. Okay. So, all right, Miss Donna. And I'm not going to turn the camera around and show you guys because I don't want to show personal information, especially because I am recording this on YouTube. So wouldn't want anybody to grab all of your info. All right, let's see here. All right. So one of the things, so the first thing I noticed with your chart is that you have a lot of placements that are together. So almost everything in your chart, oh my gosh, this is going to piss me off. Almost everything in your chart is over to between your 3rd and 10th houses. So when you were born, there was no placements at all in your 1st, 2nd, 11th, or 12th houses. So that is no placements at all in your approach to life, your attitude, yourself, your money, your work, your income, how you handle things socially, your hopes for the future, and like endings, healings, subconscious. And I'm not saying there's nothing there. What I'm saying is there were no placements in there. So those are things that you haven't really had to work on. Does that make sense? All right. Now, however, everything is getting more spread out. So I'm looking at today, right now, today. So currently, you have both your Mars and, you have your Mars and your Venus both in your second house, which is money and income and work and your job ethic and how you're looking at things. So you're really, really worried about that right now. That's the main thing on your mind. That's where the majority of your focus is currently today, right now, as we're talking. Because not only are those two things right there, they're pretty close together. And they tie in a lot to your emotions. It ties in a lot to your communication. Ties into, your goals, how you're looking at the world. Okay. So now we're going to go forward to next year. Ready? Ready? Oh, thank you, love. Okay. There we go. Ooh, that's a big old shift. All right. So let me go back because I'm going to look at that change again. So one of the things I noticed between your birth chart and now is that I had to get comfortable. A lot of your placements have kind of spanned out a little bit, right? And you are super worried about the future, super worried about looking forward. You don't see where a lot of ties are coming together. So a lot of your lines are just like this, okay? Okay? When I go forward a year, where are those lines? I said they were just open. They're now like this. They are now, enclosed is not the right word. They're square and they are like triangles with the things that I mentioned a while ago. So for example, you have your Mars and your Venus and now your Jupiter all in Gemini. You have your Mars and your Jupiter in your second house. And your second house is what I was focused on a while ago. So that is your money, your finances, like your routine, your work ethic, how you're looking at moving forward, etc. The good thing is that where these things were all pinging out everywhere, almost like just shooting in the dark, now everything is like connected. Your Venus is also moved down into your third house. So your third house is how you think. It's your mind. It's your communication. It's your social activity. It's your interests. So it's kind of like those two things where your money and your finances encompassed everything. Now it's shifted out. 2023 is going to be a fantastic year for you financially. A fantastic year. Because the way that looked up to now is that it's almost like you've been throwing your effort in too many places, hoping something will stick. 2023 is going to be the year where not only does something stick, but you find your passion. You find what it is. Okay, let me look at one more thing here, and I can tell you kind of exactly where it is, because I'm looking at, the main thing I'm looking at here is from today until a year from now. Your Jupiter is in direct line with your moon, which is your emotions, okay? When that changes, when that shifts, your Jupiter and so this is your Venus and this is your Jupiter right now. In a year, those two do this. So your Jupiter moves up into that second house and your Venus moves down into that third house. Your moon also shifts. Currently, your moon is in career. It's in your 10th house. So your public image, how you look at things, how you look at your goals, etc. Next year, it's just barely there. It's just barely there. But your Jupiter is completely in conjunction with it. So is your masculine aspect. So, I mean, like literally everything ties together. 2023 is going to be a year where you finally find the thing that makes you happy. You finally find that career, that job, however you want to say it. Because I know some people don't like saying job and some people don't like saying career, whatever. You find the thing that makes your soul happy and makes the money. It also sets you up because I'm looking at your Neptune, which is your dreams, how you see the world, the fantasy aspect versus the real aspect, and that is shifted into your 7th house. And not only that, but it is square with your sun and your moon. Ready for what that tells me? Ready for what that tells me? Because your 7th house is your relationship house. It's your marriage, your love house, your partner house. The way that this moves, it tells me that you finally have yourself in a firm place and your emotions in a firm place. There's a lot of healing that's going to happen next year with you in this aspect. So you're ready to actively move forward with having someone in your life. Let me go back because I want to see what that was before. Sorry, I can't help but giggle just a little bit. I can't help but giggle just a little bit, Donna. I really love this for you because I have a feeling that these are 2 aspects. Just seeing the way that the lines were crazy and now they're completely locked together. It's just fantastic to me. I'm going to look at one more thing here real quick. Oh my God. So I wanted to look at like where your cardinal placements are, where your elements are, etc. Remember how I just said that a lot of things were going to come into balance for you? Everything is like completely how it's supposed to be, right? Well, your cardinal, your fixed, and your mutable signs. Those are, cardinal is starting out, it's moving forward, it's starting, it's leading. Fixed is determined, moving forward, productive, like the middle part. And then mutable is the end. It's being versatile and changing and ending things. Dude, that's never even, okay? It's always weird. A year from today, that is 33.3 on each one of those things. All 3 are 33.3. I shit you not. Your fire is 33.3. Your water and your earth are 13.3. You see all the 3s? You see all the 3s? 3 is going to be a massive ruling number for your life next year. A massive ruling number for your life next year. Let me look at some of these repeating numbers because I want to see where the 3s are here. Because I can tell you some of the things that are going to really, really rule your life and how you move forward. Okay, there's a lot of 3s with your Mars. That is the divine masculine aspect, your push, your passion. Okay. And there's a lot with your moon and your emotions. So you have a lot of healing that's going to happen, and I don't think you have a choice. I don't think you have a choice. Those are still, okay. So those are still the 2 that I see. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. So, yeah. You're going to be doing a massive amount of healing over this next year. Not only are you going to be doing that, but it's going to put you in a place where you see exactly what it is that you want to do financially. You set yourself up for that, and you're hitting goal after goal after goal after goal. And being that next year is 23, and you have all those 3s, things are going to be happening in 3s. Things are going to be happening in a massive, massive number of 3s. 3 is your lucky number this next year, Donna. I don't think you're going to be able to get away from it. What's even better is, now that I said 3 and I noticed this, thank you, love, you have 3 Gemini placements and 3 Leo placements and 3 squares and 3 trines and 3 sextiles. Like, seriously, like I can't even tell you how many threes are in. Like, it's funny. It's almost like somebody made this up. It's like you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. But it's almost like somebody did. I'm not gonna lie. That's cool as fuck. It's cool as fuck. Okay? So, all right. Yes, raining threes for you. Raining threes for you. Holy crap. Holy crap. Okay. Sometimes when things happen like this and I pull up all this stuff, it's like I just want to sit and nerd on that person's forever. I've never pulled one for you either, Barbara. What the fuck? What have I been doing with my life? All right, Miss Barbara. Let me pull you a nice squeaky clean chart up. So all day long, my dogs have been going crazy, and this is the one time they've been quiet. I was like really kind of worried about jumping on a live because I'm not gonna lie, they've been assholes today. Well, really just one of them. And once he gets going, the rest of them get going. All right, Miss Barbara, let's look at you. Holy cow. So I'm looking at your birth chart when you were born. Almost everything. You only have 4 placements that are not in your 4th house. You have 7 that are. Good Lord. And almost every single one of them is Virgo. Oh, but if your moon is a Leo. Interesting. So the 4th house is foundations, it's home, it's family, it's emotions, it's the divine feminine, it's the motherly aspect. It's literally, oh my gosh. So not only do you have your sun there, you have your moon there. So how you are, how you're emotional, like the baggage that you carry. You're deep rooted in family, and at the same time, it is the bane of your existence. Your Pluto is there. So how you see yourself revolves around how you see your family, how your family sees you. Your, oh my God, your masculine and your feminine are there, and your communication and your Jupiter, which is your personal power. Your family is like it. It's it. Okay. Let me look at today. Okay, so, woo, you still have a lot of placements in your 4th house. Not nearly how they were. You have, today, as of right now, you have 3 in your 4th house, all of them in Scorpio. Your sun, your Mercury, your communication, and your Uranus. Sorry, I had to say it like that. You know I have to say it like that. Uranus. Your masculine and your Jupiter are now in your 3rd house. Your 3rd house is your mind, your communication, education, social events. And then your Saturn and your Venus are in Sagittarius, but they're also in your 5th house now. They have moved out. They're in your 5th house. That is creativity, self-expression, drama. It's also like getting back to the inner child aspect. So what this tells me is that you had a childhood that I would not be surprised to know that you didn't get to go out with friends much, especially as a kid. I would also not be surprised to know that you're doing a lot of inner child work now, that you're healing a lot from inner child shit, just because of how this looks now. Family is still important to you. It's not that it's not. It's just, yeah. it's not everything anymore. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I hope that makes sense. Well, thank you, Trucker. I appreciate that. It's like the whole beginning of your life when you were born, family was pushed into your head, and now you're seeing that family isn't everything. Yeah? Is that better? Is that better? I was trying to figure out the right way to say that. Okay, so let me look and see what's changing for you this year. Let me look and see what's changing for you this year. All right. See what I mean? I tell you, like, I can nerd on these things all fucking day. Ooh, okay. So the first thing I noticed, right now, as of today, right now, your moon is in your 6th house. It's also in Capricorn. Donna, you listening? I want to make sure you're listening here. Barbara, we need to have a chit chat. I just noticed. Okay. So your moon is in your 6th house. Your moon is your emotions and what you're putting out into the world. It is in Capricorn. Capricorns are extremely stubborn. They don't want to admit when they're wrong. They don't want to admit they're never wrong. Capricorns are never wrong. Your 6th house is your health, your fitness, your how useful you feel. And the main thing I noticed when I go from today to a year from now is that your moon goes and it shifts way up to Gemini. And it's right on the line of your 6th and 7th house. It is also in direct line with your Neptune, which is your hopes and dreams, and that's in Leo. And that's on the line of your 1st and 12th house. So the line between your 6th and 7th house is a big, thick one, because the 6th is your health, how you see yourself. So on your 7th is relationships. While it is love and marriage and so on, it's also equality and business and your like business partners, how you act with them. That's in Aquarius. With your Neptune being in Leo, right between your 1st and 12th house, you have some things that are going to end this year. You have some things. Okay. So a lot of this has to do with what we talked about with that childhood. Because your Pluto shifts from being way down here in that 4th house to all the way up into your 1st house as of next year. Your healing journey this next year is literally going to be the cornerstone of you. I'm not saying there's not going to be other things, but when you look back, so you're sitting here next year in 2023, looking back at this past year, I'm not sure you're going to recognize yourself. I am not sure that, and I don't mean everybody does that, but I mean, this is like a deep, deep, deep dive. You are literally going to be a completely different person than you are right now. So much of this damage and trauma that you had as a child, so much of this, I don't want to say, I don't, it's not trauma. It's just baggage, emotional baggage that we carry from wounds that we took as a child and how it affected how we see the world. All of that is gone. All of that is gone. So you actually start seeing the world and dreaming about where you're going from here. You also have so many things that fall in line together. Your emotions, yourself, your sense of self-worth. You also have a ton of 3s, but they're not like Donna's. They're not like that. You actually have more fours than everything, but you do have two different aspects of your charts that are 33.3. One is your cardinal sign, that moving forward, and one is your air, which is processing all these ideas and information intellectually. The two fours that are here, there are two massive fours. Your fixed sign, your fixed ones, the ones that are like pushing through and going forward, that's 40. Then your fire is at 40, and that is also pushing through. That's your passion, your drive. So let me see where else you've got. Your whole chart is full of fours. Literally almost every arc. So the line, what I'm talking about arc, are they're just numbers. They're like 90 by 43 by 22. But every one of your sun placements, there's like 7. And when I say sun placements, it's like what they're in line with or not in line with or whatever. All but one has 4s in it. All but one. Your moon has several placements, all but 2. So 4 is, oh, thank you. Thank you for the gift, Joy. All but, like, everything is 4s. So yours is going to be 4s. Everything is going to happen in 4s. And you have a lot of things that are square in your chart, which is 4. So 4 is your lucky number. You're gonna be going through a massive healing this year, and it's gonna be tough. I would say that the first part of this next year, the first 3 or 4 months, are gonna be really hard. They're gonna be really tough, and it's not financially. It's not any of that. It's in here. It's just, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot, Barbara. So. There you go, love. So, Lisa, I just saw your comment. Thank you, Miss Christine. I haven't got their message yet, but I haven't been on the site this evening, so I will get them messaged and get that. Or Tiffany, can you check and see? Because I had sent a message. They had a private shopping yesterday, and I had to move it. And I haven't been able to reschedule it. I just need to get it rescheduled. Just remind me. How about that? Just remind me. All right, Christine Carver. Where are you at, love? I forgot how interesting your birth chart is. It looks like a little crazy Christmas tree. All right. All of your placements are your 6th through 12th house, and you only have 1 in your 6th and 1 in your 12th house. I'm looking at when you were born, okay? Looking at when you were born. So you have a ton of things to do. Here's why. Okay. Before I say too much, let me look at today. Okay. All right. So, when you were born, like I was saying, everything is from your 6th up to your 12th house. So, 6th is your health, like the overview of the 6th house, your health. 7th is relationships. 8th is like intimacy and how you process intimacy with others. That's actually where your personal power is. Like, you are an amazing person at connecting to someone very intimately. Your 9th house is travel. Your 10th house is career. Your 11th is like your social standing. And your 12th, which is where your sun sign sits, is in healing, spirituality, karma. It's all up at the top. Okay. Now, right now, it's shifted. So your sun is up in the 11th, which is your social aspect. I had to make sure I took a breath there because I'm like, top. Okay. Everything is shifted down to 5 through 11. So that's what's up. You have your whole chart is still squished to the top, but it's just shifted. So you don't feel like you, because, and here's the thing, I'm glad I'm doing this for you, because this right here is going to explain a lot of what's going on and what's holding you back. And I've got to make sure I talk a little faster because I've got 20 of you guys to get through. But this is going to explain a lot, Christine, okay? Your 5th house is your love, your creativity, and a lot of the inner child stuff. You have 3 placements currently right now, and they're all in Libra, which are balanced, right? Except they're all in retrograde. Meaning that all of these placements, and I'll tell you where they are. They are in your Mars, which is your passion, your drive, your divine masculine, your Saturn, which is karma, and your Pluto, which is how you feel about yourself, how you look to the outside world. Does that make sense? So all 3 of those aspects are drained right now. Like you feel like you can't get them to work correctly. Then the only placement in your 6th house is your Jupiter, which is also in retrograde. And it's in Scorpio. And that's your health and your habits and so on. So those aren't even working right. So all the things you used to do, like the food, I would bet that the foods you used to love suddenly taste like shit to you. And things that used to taste like shit now taste good. Like everything is just like flopped on its head. That's exactly why you feel you don't feel like yourself. Plus your sun is no longer in this healing and ending and karma and spirituality. Babe, it's in your 11th house, which is your social aspect. So I'm going to give you a humongous answer right here to the thing that you've been asking me about repeatedly. Your spiritual self, your Christine right now. You have done the healing. You have done the spirituality. You have done the path you needed to do up to now. Now is your time to be social and to help others with this, to bring the things that are important to you to the forefront of other people's paths. So it's not even so much as teaching. It's making people aware of things. Does that make sense? So say you had a social cause that you wanted to talk about how endangered the platypus is. That's what you need to talk about. Does that make sense? That's what you need to talk about. So you've just shifted. You've done all the healing you need to do. You've done all of the closure you need to do. You've gotten past all of those self-limiting beliefs. So that's why right now, in this moment, you don't feel like yourself. Okay. Now let's look at a year from now. I know that was a lot, and you're probably like, my brain hurts now. Everything is still over in that side. Like there's nothing from your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 12th house. Everything is still squished way up. You are literally that all or nothing person. All right. So a year from now, girl, nothing changes. Hang on. I hit the right button. I didn't hit the right button. Okay. From now, you still have those 3 placements I talked about in Libra in retrograde. Let me go back. Let me see something. Okay. There we go. That's what I'm looking at is your moon. Okay. Currently, today, right now, we talked about those Libra placements. Your moon is just kind of floating. It's not really helping at all with a lot of those things down there that we talked about. The 3 placements in Libra and the Scorpio placement right now. It's not helping with any of them. It's just floating. So you don't feel connected emotionally to any of those aspects of yourself anymore. So that's another reason why right now you don't feel very good about yourself. You don't feel very good about your place in the universe. You don't feel very good about your karmic path. You don't feel very driven. You don't have a lot of passion to move forward, and you don't feel like you have any personal power. So here's the thing. If I forward this to the next year, your moon shifts drastically. It goes from your 10th house, which 10th is your long-term goals, your masculinity, your structure, like all the things that you want to know right now. Like, I need this right now. Your moon shifts into your 11th house, which is what we're talking about with your social aspect. And that is still in Aries a year from now. But thank you, focus. But your moon now shifts. When your moon shifts, it is, let me okay. When your moon shifts, it moves in conjunction and parallel with your communication. So you're finally able to words correctly what you want, where you're going, why you're going there, why you want it. So one of the main things that's going to shift for you this year. Okay, let me look at something. Okay. One of the main things that's going to shift for you is your communication. Oh, we broke TikTok. Good thing we're over here on YouTube, huh? One of the main things that's going to shift for you, Christine, is your communication. It's like you finally find your voice to fix those aspects in that 5th house. You finally find your voice to pull what it is you want to tell the world to the forefront. And I will tell you this, here's a little cheat. The thing that you want to push the most, the thing that you're wanting to really pull out into the universe and make people aware of, has to do a lot with the divine feminine. It also has to do a tremendous amount with creativity. Because that is in direct line with your sun and who you are. And when I say sun, I don't mean like your kid. I mean like your sun's sign, who you are. So, that answer a lot of the questions there, Christine? Or did it give you more? Because I have a tendency to do that too. You boys, I just want you to know, have no idea how lucky you are that you guys don't have to deal with bras. I'm just saying, bras are dumb. Boobs are dumb. I just want to make that clear. They're stupid. Okay. Alrighty. Miss Stacy Martinez, you're next. So, guys, if you have a ticket for tonight, let me update my list. I can tell you how many there are, or if there are any. There may not be any left. If you can't stay the whole time, no big deal. I have this on YouTube, and I will be reading until these are done. So you guys can go on YouTube and watch it at your convenience. And yes, we will put the list. We will just put your first name and then your initial on there. Okay, so you don't have to worry about anybody seeing that it's yours, okay? It would help if I moved my tabs right next to each other. Stacy, I've never pulled one for you. What? Okay. Get a nice squeaky clean chart too. Now I keep trying to go over there and I'm like, nope, bitch, you moved it next to each other. All right, Stacy Poo, here we go. Holy shit, you are hard-headed. Girl. Thank you, Miss Christine. Woo! Stacy has 4 Taurus placements. Her sun, her Venus, her personal power. Oh, Lord. Oh, and your masculine's in Cancer, meaning you have, man, not only can you be the most stubborn of stubborn, but When you get angry, you get super sensitive. And I would bet arguing with you is like arguing with a pit viper, isn't it? Isn't it? Woo! Okay, so the other thing I'm looking at here, almost all of your Taurus placements, well, 3 of those 4 are in your 4th house, which is your roots, your self-care, your foundation. The other one is just barely in your 3rd house, and that is how you think, how you communicate. And that's where your personal power is. So to make it even better, communication, like you really have to have communication. That is where your strong suit is. You need your communication. And the reason that communication is so massively important to you is because your Mercury, when you were born, Mercury was in retrograde and it's in Gemini. So I'm going to see how you look now. Let's see how is it now? That's why. Okay. So your Mercury now, it's still in Gemini, but now it's in your 3rd house. Whereas before it was in your 5th house. You were not allowed to express yourself as a kid, were you? Like hardly at all. Okay. All right. So Miss Stacy, first of all, let me say this. I am super, super, super mega proud of you because you have overcome one of the main things you had to overcome in this life is your communication. Because when you were born, that was in retrograde. So actually Mercury retrogrades are usually really good for you. They're usually really good for you. Like your communication is on point. But now you have learned how to communicate. Like it is one of the most important things to you is being able to communicate correctly. So if somebody doesn't communicate with you, you're kind of out. Like, no. But all right. So you have a couple other things. You are also that very matter-of-fact person. You need a list and you need to go down that list and go. So now that you've gotten a whole bunch of things off your list, here's what's next. Right now, you have your Uranus and your Neptune in retrograde. One's in your 9th house, which is your travel, your wisdom, your education, your ethics, your learning. The other is in your 8th house, which is your intimacy, your intimacy. I mean, that's the best way to explain it, your intimacy. So you're having a problem letting people in. You're having a problem finding what the right balance is for letting people in. And you're having a problem trusting your own wisdom. And that's causing problems with your communication because I'm looking at the lines and okay. So what's going to change for you next year? What's going to change for you next year? Ready? Here we go. So your moon is in Cancer right now. Your moon is still going to be in Cancer in a year from now. But I'm like making your chart go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So right now your moon is in your 4th house, which is your home, your roots, etc. Your your sun placement is also there, and so is your Venus as of right now. All 3 of those are in Cancer for you. Meaning that you are firmly throwing yourself in your self-care, your roots, your family, those around you that make you feel like you're soaking in the divine feminine. Like you have a massive amount of divine feminine power right now. Right now. Okay? A year from now, you're overcoming this issue that you have with how you're seeing your own wisdom, how you're seeing travel, how you're seeing religion and ethics and so on. You overcome that. You overcome that. And the other thing I love is that your Neptune, which is, it's still in retrograde, but it's shifting almost out of your 8th house and it's finally in square with your moon. So you overcome 2 major things next year. So here's what your next year is going to be: a massive amount of internal growth. A massive amount of internal growth, because that's a lot. That's a lot. The good thing about it is that it allows you to be more open and honest with your emotions, especially when it comes to allowing people in and allowing people to know who Stacy really is. You've done a lot of changing already. Like, you are in no way the person that you were, I would bet, probably even 6 months ago. You've had a massive slew of just shit that you've had to deal with over the last year. Okay. So let me look at something else right here. So at this time next year, all 3 of your main signs, your sun, your moon, and your rising, are water. You're going to be putting an end to a lot of things at this time next year. Okay? A lot. Almost half your chart is mutable signs, which are versatile. They're ending, they're change. And then as far as your elements, your water is the biggest thing. And that's your intuition. Not only are you going to be healing a massive amount of, go back. Not only are you going to be healing a massive amount of things with your own wisdom, your own philosophy of life, and how you process intimacy and how you allow people in. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh, girl. Your intuition's also going through the roof. Five is also your number. Almost every single one of these things. 5, 55, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 5, 5, 5. 5 is your number. 5 is your lucky number for next year. Okay? 5 is your lucky number for next year. So I kind of see what's going on in the chat a minute, and I just wanted to finish that before I addressed that something else. So, Miss Shannon, one of the things that has touched my life so deeply is losing people that I care about. I make it my goal to let everybody know that they matter, to let everybody know that their ripples matter, to let everybody know that their life matters, that they matter. You matter. You matter. I know that right now, thank you, Missy. There are a lot of people, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, who don't understand what the point is of staying here. I talk to people all the time. Even I think about this sometimes. Like, what literally is the point? Because the world's a fucking dumpster fire and you can't fix it. And I understand that. But here's the thing. There's never anything so bad that it can't change. There is never anything so bad that it can't be fixed. There is never anything so bad that it's worth cutting your ripples off, because your ripples matter. Every breath you take matters. Because here's the thing. If your ripples stop, if you're no longer here, you'll make a couple of big ripples for a little while. And this is going to sound weird when I say it this way, but I want you guys to all listen. When we pass away, we make ripples, big ripples. We touch people's lives, people that you never even thought about. For example, your dentist. Say you miss an appointment. The secretary calls and someone says, well, they're no longer here, they've passed away. So they tell the dentist, hey, so-and-so passed away. And the dentist kind of looks around and he processes it for a minute and he realizes that you're right about his age or younger. And he goes home and he hugs his family a little tighter and tells his wife why, because she wants to know why he's so touchy-feely. And so it makes ripples, okay? But after a while, those ripples slow, and they only affect those people that really knew us. Every now and then they affect other people, but they slow and they stop. When we're here, every breath we take is a ripple. Everything we do and don't do is a ripple. Just being here and just breathing is a ripple. It's a ripple. Talking in the chat right here is a ripple. Whether you're posting something uplifting, whether you're a troll, whether you're just sending likes, the ripples. Because if you guys aren't sending likes, whether it's in my live or someone else's live, if you guys weren't sending likes, other people wouldn't see the live, other people wouldn't come in. Maybe somebody really needed to hear what was going on at that moment. By you posting something and me answering a question and me answering you, somebody may be scrolling and say, oh, I need to hear that. That's coming across right now because I need to hear it. So, I want you to know, honey, that you absolutely matter. You absolutely matter. And I just read what you said there. I understand how hard all of that is. So let me tell you a little something. Less than 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I was in that place right there. And I didn't tell anybody. In 2019 was a year that I didn't feel like I was going to live through. I had found out that because of years of severe abuse in pretty much every way you could think of, I had permanent heart damage. I'm diabetic. I have epilepsy. My brain's changing. I was also told that I'm going to lose my long-term memories. I'm going to eventually lose my words. Eventually, I'll be like Drew Barrymore in 51st Dates, except I won't be eloquent about it. And I was in a real depressive state. I left a 15-year marriage. I walked away from all the things because I knew if I didn't, I was going to end up dying there, and he would be able to play the victim. And I went through a time that was so dark because of the way that the things were going in that divorce. So deep and so dark that I didn't think I was ever going to pull out of them. The only thing that kept me going was my kids. That's it. I was still doing this. I was still helping people. I was still doing everything I could. And I was putting on the good face, but I sure didn't feel it inside. The only thing that kept me here was the fact that my oldest son lost his dad when he was 12. And I saw the damage that did to him. I saw how much he missed his dad when he graduated high school and when he went to college and when he got married. And I could not put him through that again. And I could not put my youngest through that. That is literally the only thing that kept me here. So I threw myself into work, and I was working 3 jobs because I didn't want to be at home. And I just kept putting one foot forward and breathing and breathing and breathing. And every time something went horrible in court, and every time I had a new PI following me, and every time my information was put on escort sites, and every time I had people showing up at my house, as terrified as I was, I just kept breathing and going forward. And now I have made it a mission to make sure that no one feels alone, because I didn't really have anybody that stood beside me very much. I'm not very close with my family. I don't even have a lot of family left. So I don't ever want any of you guys to feel alone. Ever. Ever. I understand how that feels. And I don't want any of you to ever feel that way. I care. I care. I care if you're here. I don't want you to leave. Okay? I don't want you to leave. I don't want any of you to leave. Seriously, I might cry. Because in doing what I do, and I've done this a long time, I've lost a lot of clients. And clients isn't even really the right word. Friends is a better word, because you don't do what I do and not get to know people on a very, very deep level. I've seen how it goes for the people that are still here. It's hard, and they don't understand. And even when I was in that position where I didn't want to be here, and I actively didn't want to be here. That's one thing that I thought too, is there's nothing that would ever explain to anyone why I wasn't here. They would never understand. So, Miss Shannon, I love you very much. You matter more than you will ever realize. I don't ever want you to leave. Okay? And I'm not going to say, promise me, and I'm not going to say all those things, because here's the thing. If someone had told me that, I would have been like, yeah, I promise. So I understand. All I'm asking is that you just keep breathing. Okay? This is one of the things, one of the reasons why I say, and I tell you guys to use, I am the prize. Okay? That is the one thing that kept me going. Except mine at first was, I will be the prize. I will be the prize one day. I will be the prize. I will be the prize. And one day it shifted to, I am the prize. I realized that by saying I am, it means I am. I already am. So, you are the prize, sweetheart. Okay? You are the prize. And I see a lot of you guys understand exactly where she is, exactly what I'm saying. I love every one of you guys. So when I say that I understand, I truly understand. When I say that I've been in some very dark places, I've been in some very dark places. When I say that if you need me in your sleep, if you need me when you're traveling, if you need someone to be there for you and with you, I'm there. I'm here. I'm here. I promise. Okay? I promise. Okay? I love all of you guys. Okay? You're very welcome, Shannon, honey. You're very welcome. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I was seeing everything. That's something that's very, very close to me. In fact, my kid found, I still haven't got all of my things back from my ex-husband. I'm still fighting to get things. My kid managed to bring me home my high school junior yearbook. And I was flipping through it. And when I was in high school, the 3 years I was in high school, we had more kids than I would like to count commit suicide. And so I showed my kid that, because my kid fights with, why am I here? Why does this matter? So I showed my kid that. And yeah, explained to my kid how that person mattered, how that person made ripples, how they still make ripples with me, with their family, with so and so. So it is very important to me, and it is something that I understand from all sides of it. And I love to see that a lot of you guys understand where she's at too. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad that you came across my page, and I'm glad that I was able to speak to you a little bit. So, you're very welcome. Thank you, Jeff. You're very welcome. I love you, Miss Shannon. Okay? Well, if it'll let me pull you up, I was going to follow you so that way I can check on you. But I think I broke TikTok. There it is. There. It's like, I broke TikTok. Cool. So, I followed you, Miss Shannon, honey, okay? All right. Now I should get back to it. Hey, Tony. How are you, sweet pea? Hey, Alicia. Thank you, Miss Christie. Well, Miss Melanie Moore doesn't have a chart either. I don't know why I get so excited about like a new squeaky clean chart. I love you guys. I love all of you. Magically work. Son of a bitch. Put your, oh shit. Okay. Thought I broke my computer there for a minute. I was about to not be a happy camper. Or the internet. I just broke the internet. Just broke the internet. Forget it. I appreciate that, guys, but it's not why I told you guys any of that. It's just now to the point where I feel like I can talk about it. because I see that so many other people are exactly where I was. So yeah. Why is this? Okay, there we go. All right, Miss Melanie, ready? And that's on YouTube. So if y'all ever need to listen to it, you can go back. It's about 45 minutes in. Just saying. You can go back and listen to it whenever you need it. All right. Ms. Melanie, let's get back to it here. Yeah, I probably need I broke TikTok shirts. I probably need I broke TikTok shirts. All right, Miss Melanie. So I've got your birth chart up here. So one of the very first things I noticed is that your Neptune and your Uranus are both in Capricorn, both in retrograde, and both, oh man, they're both like just completely discombobulated with your Mars. One sits in your first house and one sits in your second house. Your first house is your appearance, yourself, like how you feel about you, your first impressions, your identity, your approach to life. The second house is your money, your work ethic, your how you look at things. So these are two things that you've struggled with your whole life. Okay, let me look at now real quick. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Well, all right then. This makes me super happy. Me not knocking things off my desks makes me super happy too. I'm freezing. There we go. I'm freezing. All right. So, Miss Melanie, when you were born, those two things affected you very deeply, and I would bet that it really affected your childhood in a couple of ways. It affected you in the fact that you always were struggling to find who you needed to be, who you were. It also affected you in that you had a hard time when you started working, finding a job that would keep you, that's not right, finding a job and finding work that kept you stimulated, that you wanted to do. I'm not saying you had a bad work ethic. What I'm saying is those daily routines were not what you wanted. It just wasn't what you wanted. You know what I mean? So, you also have 3 Scorpio placements. For being a Libra, you're like a cusp Libra too. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. But all of that is in line and then all jacked up with your Mars, which is in Cancer, meaning that you just shut down when those two things affect you. So now, as of today, what I was looking at is both of those things have shifted. Both of them shifted. They're still in Capricorn, but now they are not in retrograde. And they're both in the first house, meaning that you have full on taken over who you are. And I said that way for a reason. You've full on taken over. This is who I am. I don't give a shit what you think. And you've really made it your own. But the thing is, now your Saturn, as of right now, your Saturn placement is not only in Pisces, but it's in retrograde in your second house, meaning that it's like karma is working against you as far as your job goes. Like every time you get ahead, something happens. You get ahead, something happens. So it's almost like, I would bet more than one time lately, Miss Melanie, you've said, man, what else can go wrong? Like, what else? What else? Where was your Saturn before? Okay. You fight. Man, you're fighting against karma. You just are fighting against karma the whole time. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me look at 2023, because the thing I like is from birth, like the day you were born to this moment right now, your chart went from kind of a little crazy to very square in the middle. Everything is very square. there's lots of, well, rectangles, I guess, but there's several different things that are in square to each other. In fact, 4 things that are in square to each other. Wait, 4 major squares, 3 smaller squares. Okay. Now, if we forward to 2023. Hey, sir, I asked you to move forward. Thank you. Okay. I knew I was getting yawn. The major shift for you. Okay. Remember how I said I had to like make it go back and forth a little bit so I could see now I've got to get comfortable and like wiggle. You know how you like do this and you wiggle the butt to get all ready. Okay. So remember how I said that I was really proud of you for hitting that phase where you're like, you know what? This is who I am. Don't give a shit what you think. Your outlook is much different than what it was when you were a kid. Not only is your outlook much different, but it was in square with your emotions, okay? Meaning that your emotions still really affected you. Like you really had a lot underneath there that you were still dealing with, still healing from, still tripping over, for lack of a better term. Your moon is also in square with that karma. Meaning that all those emotions and all those things that you're still working on healing from were affecting fucking karma. They were affecting your fucking karma. 2023, however, is going to be the time where your moon shifts sorry. I have to go back and forth. I like going back and forth. Your moon shifts. It's still going to be in Gemini. So you're still going to have that kind of duality there. But it's no longer in conjunction with your karma in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it's not really even in conjunction with those 2 aspects that you're healing from. And the way that you see yourself, the way that you put that out to the world is shifting as well. Whereas you've kind of been on this really hardcore, this is me, don't give a fuck what you think. And not that that's a bad thing, but you're shifting. That is coming to an end in 2023. At the very end of 2023, your Uranus starts to shift. Get it? Your Uranus shifts. Sorry, my inner 12-year-old. It is what it is. It shifts from your first house. It starts shifting into your 12th house. Like it's literally on the line a year from right now. It's literally on the line of your 12th house. And your 12th house is ending. It's spirituality. It's what's hidden. It's subconscious and so on. Still in Capricorn. So you're still going to be plowing forward like nobody's business. But it also directly affects the way that you communicate. You also lose a lot of those squares in favor of triangles. So let's look here. But your emotions are taken out of the equation when it comes to your karma. Okay. So over half of your chart a year from today is in cardinal sign territory. 53%, over half. Meaning that you have ended, 2023 is going to be a year of ending shit for you. Like the stuff that's been weighing you down, the stuff that you've been dealing with, the stuff you've been healing from, like it's literally going to be a year of you absolutely letting go, telling people to fuck off, telling situations to fuck off. Just end. Done. And being that those 2 things are in Capricorn, like, man, if y'all don't know, like when a Capricorn gets to the point where they're done, like they can close that fucking door like closing off a submarine, man. They never knew you. They never talked to you. You don't even exist anymore. That's how a Capricorn cut somebody off. You don't exist. That's exactly what's fixing to happen this year. Thank you, Urban. I appreciate that. That's exactly what's fixing to happen this year. You are going to be letting go and just absolutely cutting off so many things that this time next year, you're going to be so ready for all of these new beginnings. And what's also interesting is as far as your elements go, Even though your cardinal signs are half your chart, really? Really? Your fire is only 13% because your water is almost half your chart, meaning that you are going to be moving forward intuitively, period. So what this also tells me is that in 2023, or this net, well, 2023, you absolutely start being that hippie like me that trusts your gut on everything, that trusts your gut on everything. You also end up grounding yourself a lot, and I think that's utterly fantastic. What the hell? You don't really have a lot of repeating numbers. I was looking to see if there were repeating numbers. There are a few of them, so it tells me that you're going to have some shifts throughout the year. 6s and 8s are big things, but I mean, I also see a lot of 5s and 4s. So there's not one particular number that jumps out. Well, okay, when I get down here, I guess it's 8, but it's not an overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like with the other ones, I was like, holy shit, like everything is 3s. Even in this aspect, there are a lot of 8s, but not overwhelming. So I would say that your lucky numbers are going to shift from like 4s and 5s to 8, 6s and 8s. But you have a ton of work that's going to be done in your 10th house. Like that's where almost all of your placements sit, and they're going to stay there. So your sun sign, your Venus, which is your feminine, your divine feminine, your love, etc., your Jupiter, which is your personal power, and your Pluto, which is how you want people to see you and how you see yourself. That's on the line of your 11th, which is your social. So you really care about how the thing that you portray out, like you really, I got a stutter there. What the fuck was that? You really take care on how you put yourself out there. But literally all of this shifts into your 10th house next year. Even how you feel you need to portray yourself socially. That is all long-term goals, your public image. It's your divine masculine, which is in Leo, by the way, next year, and in your 7th house. So I wouldn't be surprised to know that this time next year, really, you are wearing me out with this energy. You really are taking the bull by the horns as far as your love life this time next year. 2023 is going to be a year of you letting go of bullshit, you knuckling down, and you determining exactly what you want as far as long-term goals. Like, thank you, love. Not only exactly what you want, but moving forward. I mean, in like pinpoint precision. So, let me look at something here. It's going to be completely out of the norm for you. Being a Libra, you need balance. However, your sun sign is full on in Scorpio. And it's going to be in Scorpio this time next year. It is absolutely you moving forward with pinpoint precision. So I see why your number shifted a little bit. I see why. It's going to be a really, really interesting year for you. Like one of those times where you are just, you know, like the cartoons when they're running forward so fast that they leave flames behind them. That's you, Miss Melanie. That's you. This next year, like I almost feel sorry for anybody that tries to stand in your way, but if they're trying to stand in your way, they're not your people anyway, and they can fuck off, right? Just saying what I'm saying. Just saying what I'm saying. All right. Miss Robin Michelle. Work. All right. So I'm going to take a bathroom break in a minute because I've been drinking tea and water all day. Not Robinin. Robin doesn't have one either. Thank you. Thank you, Luke. How are you, love? That was very sweet of you. I always love that one. Hey, I always tell it like it is because that's the only way to be. Besides, I'm a Capricorn. Like, there's no other way to do that. Just saying what I'm saying. All right. All right, Miss Robin. Let's look. Aw. Okay. So all of what I was looking at, all of your placements are between your first and your eighth house. All of them. And everything is like blah, 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 everywhere. You are a very dual person. And I'm going to explain that a little better. Every single placement that you've got here is pretty much in twos. You're like, you got your Leo, and then you have your communication and your words, Mars, your Mercury and your Mars, Leo. You have your divine feminine and your moon, Cancer. You have your rising and your karma, your fate, Gemini. Like 2 Libras, 2 Sagittarius. Everything is like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But you have nothing in your 9th through 12th houses. In fact, really, the one that's in your first house doesn't really matter that much. Oh, stop what I just do. Shit. Go back, go back, go back. There we go. Like, no. Because the thing that's in your first house there is your Vesta. That's what I'm looking at. So your 9th house is your travel, your learning. Your 10th house is like your long-term goals. Your 11th is like your social, and your 10th or your 12th, I mean, is like spiritual, your spiritual self, ending, healing, etc. You have nothing in those. I haven't even put it to now. I'm really curious how it is now, because this right here tells me that one of the main things that you have to work on when you were born in this life is, your communication, your personal power, owning your own personal power, and how you put yourself out to the world. Holy shit balls. Okay. All right. So remember how I said that you were kind of all whopper-jawed and kind of scattered everywhere, and it was between your first and your 8th house and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, not now. Not now. Now you don't have anything in your 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th house. Everything is in 11th, 12th, and then your 1st through your 6th. In fact, almost everything is in your 4th house. Holy shit. Okay. You already had 3 things in your 4th house, and one of them was in retrograde when you were born, and that is your Mercury. Meaning, your 4th house is family. It is your roots. It is your emotions. It's your foundation. So being that you had your Mercury in retrograde when you were born in that house, it tells me that you have a really hard time communicating with family. You have a hard time telling them what you feel, what you want, etc. So I would bet that you probably weren't listened to much as a child. You know, children are better seen than heard. Because now, right now, your 4th house is humongous, and you have 5 placements there. Four of them being Libra placements. Oh, doggy. Okay. 4 of them are Libra placements. 1 is a Virgo. Guess which one the Virgo is? That would be your Mars, your divine masculine. Meaning you are firmly rooted in this interesting attitude that you've taken on about your family, about your past, and so on. The thing I love here is that your sun sign, your current sun sign, your Pluto, which is how you portray yourself to the world, how you see the world, your Mercury, which is your communication, and your Neptune, which is your hopes and dreams and goals, All of those are Libra. All of those are in your fourth house. You have a completely different outlook on family and home and roots than you did as a kid. Completely 900% different. And I pull my own hair. Okay, so I'm gonna look at your moon real quick and then we're gonna come back. So when you were born, your moon's in Cancer, and it was in your third house, which is thinking and being stuck in your own brain. Woo! You were a deep kid. I bet you were super sensitive as a kid too. Super sensitive. Like, I would bet that there are still things that kids said to you in grade school that bother you now. Like, that kind of sensitive. Okay. So now your moon is in Taurus, meaning that while you're still really sensitive, you're really hard-headed about it. So you're still really sensitive, especially about things that that push on your divine feminine, that push on your love buttons, that like play on that it's not the right word. Threaten that. Does that make sense? Put it down. You also really dig your heels in on things that threaten who you are right now. You're very firm in who you are, and you feel like you're pretty balanced right now, knowing who you are, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strength, etc. So when something happens around that, somebody puts that down, you're really stubborn on that too, and I would bet you cut a motherfucker off like that. You also are very, very stubborn about your view going forward and what you want in the world. Like your dreams, your goals, your hopes. And here's the thing, I am not picking on you for any of that. I think that's utterly fantastic because more people need to protect their focus. That's one thing that I have really done over the last 2 years is protect my focus, period. I have goals, I have dreams, I have things that I want to do. I'm hitting every one of those fucking goals, and protecting my focus is the way that I do that. It's not that I don't let other people in. It's that I am protecting that focus. And if something is fucking with that focus, it gets cut off. Gets cut off. So that's exactly where you are, Robin. Okay. The only thing I see, no, never mind. I lied. Right now, you're actually in a really good spot. You're in a really good spot. So I can't wait to see how this shifts moving forward. I can't wait to see how it shifts moving forward. So I will say the only thing that I actually do see is your moon is smack dab in the middle of your 11th house. And being in Taurus currently, it means that it's really stubborn, but it's also oversensitive. The 11th is your social awareness, your groups, your friends, humanitarianism. So a lot of things really are offending you to your core right now that are going on in the world. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. There's a lot of things going on in the world that should offend a lot of us to the fucking core. So I would bet that you're probably having a hard time watching the news. You're having a hard time reading certain news stories. Like you just get angry at so much and you can't. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at a year from today. I keep hitting the wrong button and then going like, why didn't anything change? Okay. Let me go back. Interesting. So right now, today, right this moment, your Venus, your divine masculine, is in Leo. It sits directly on the line between your second and third houses. Second is money, it's income, it's your materialism, your work ethic, etc. The third house is the way you think about things, your mind, your subconscious. So that's a balance right there between those two. However, a year from now, it's firmly in the third house, meaning your divine feminine really takes hold of you and where you're going. You start handling things subconsciously as to how your divine feminine would handle it. Like you're fixing to go through your goddess phase, girl. You're fixing to go through your goddess phase. Yeah. For lack of better term and the best term possible, Miss Robin, 2023 is your goddess phase. Your moon slides down into Gemini, and it is in all the discombobulation with how you feel the world sees you, the world needs to see you. You no longer give a fuck at the end of this next year how the world sees you, because you know damn well that you're a goddess and you don't give a shit. I think that that is utterly fantastic. So here's what I love. I just pulled this up. Girl, you can't make this shit up. Okay, you ready? When I look at your cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs, your cardinal, which is the starting things up, it is moving forward, its ambition is 46.7%. Your mutable, which is ending things, throwing people out, bye, see you wouldn't want to be ya, 46.7%. Your fixed, that like let's be determined and move forward, 6.7%. 6.7%. Your air, which is your processing ideas and information and your logic, 46.7%. All the goddess vibes. Not only all the goddess vibes, but all the hardcore, insane, mega epic ass, intelligent goddess vibes. Your water and your fire are 13.3 and your earth is 26.7, meaning that you are full on fucking grounded in it. In fact, your Venus sits in fire. Oh, 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 oh. And your whole chart is filled with threes. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 33, 3, 33, 3, 33, 33, 13, 33, 3, 3, 3, 33, 13. Damn. Love. This next year, if there is a social cause that you have been wanting to be an activist for, or there's one that you have started being an activist for that you haven't full on stepped into it, this next year is the year to do it. It is the year that your voice is amazing, it is powerful, and it is strong. And those goddess vibes, there's no stopping them. There is no stopping them. So, just saying. Just saying, Miss Robin. Bam. All of that. Miss Andrea Wilson. All right, so let me do this. How do I not have yours? I don't. What? Some of you guys, I'm like, I know I've done yours. And then I go to pull it up. No, I haven't. What the hell? Okay. So I saw somebody was asking how my headache is. It is much, much, much better. I got up this morning. I had a rough night last night. My sugar crashed repeatedly. Woke up sick as shit several times. And I got up this morning and I took some vitamin C. I took some zinc on top of my regular shit. And it's been go, go, go all day. But it's about time for me to take some more Tylenol. Also, my sugar got a little high a while ago, so my sugar's probably going down, which is probably also why I've got a headache. But nowhere near yesterday's level. Yeah, yesterday it was all I could do to hold it through zodiac reads, so I didn't upchuck. Y'all have no idea. All right, Miss Andrea Wilson. You are interesting. I'm looking at your chart when you were born. You have a whole bunch of like this massive red kind of X in the middle with several things. Oh, Lord. You are not a person I want to argue with either. Your moon is in Gemini. Your moon is in Pisces. Your sun is in Gemini. And then you have 3 Taurus placements and 2 Virgo placements. Hell no would I ever argue with you. What? Your communication is Taurus. Your Mars is Taurus. Your Jupiter is Taurus. So 3 of your most powerful placements are Taurus, Earth sign. Then your Pluto and your Neptune are Virgo, Earth sign. Good Lord. You are almost too grounded for your own good sometimes. Literally. Almost too grounded for your own good. Okay, so let's go to right now. Let's see what changes. Okay, so when you were born, you don't have anything in your 6th house. You have stuff in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Nothing in your 6th house, which is health, fitness. It is also, this is probably someplace where you didn't have I'm curious to see what changes, if there's anything in it now. Because the 6th house is also what gives you a sense of purpose sometimes. Your 8th house, there's nothing in your 8th house. So you have a problem as a kid and growing up, you had a problem letting people in. I would bet you probably still do. Like letting people in an intimate way. Then you don't have anything at all in your 10th, 11th, or 12th houses, which is career, social standing, and healing. Okay, so let's look. You still have those red X's, which is really cool. You still have 5 damn Earth placements. You still have 5 Earth placements. Except now you have 3 Virgo and 2 Taurus. So, here's the first thing I'm going to say. Yeah, don't fuck around with blood pressure, guys. So last December 4th, actually, I got hauled by a boxy truck to the ER in Oklahoma City because my blood pressure shot up to 220/170. So I had to rip all of my jewelry out, pull my braid thing out because of the beads, the metal, got thrown into the CAT scan, and they couldn't really do anything for me because they didn't see that I was having a stroke, etc. But I didn't find out literally until about 3 months ago that yes, I did have a mini stroke last December. Don't fuck around with that shit, man. Don't fuck around with it, okay? Don't. No. All right. Miss Andrea Wilson. So, remember how I said I was curious if something ended up in your 6th house? It did. Your Uranus ends up there in Scorpio. But this is because you've gotten more in touch with you feeling useful. In fact, this actually radiates out to several other things, such as your Saturn, your moon, your emotions, your personal power. It also radiates to who you are. Like you have learned exactly who you are. So I'm really proud of you for that. Now, right now, you don't have anything in your 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th houses. You do have stuff in your 11th, which is your long-term goals. But here's the thing about that. Your Saturn currently is in your 11th house and it's in retrograde, meaning that whatever this long-term, you have a long-term goal that you feel like you're hitting roadblock after roadblock for. Okay. It's not, okay, so the roadblocks are actually in communication. Like you can't get to the right people. You can't talk to the right venues, whatever it is. There's something that's holding you hostage as far as like your communication goes. Okay, so let's see what changes for you this year. That roadblock. Okay. I'm down with that. So right now, right this moment, your moon sits on the line, like literally on the line between your first and 12th house, meaning that your emotions go from yourself, your how you feel, you look to other people, how you appear, so on, to fuck this, my spiritual self. Like you really ride the line back and forth right now. You flip back and forth right now to I'm healing, I'm going through this, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you feel great about yourself, and then sometimes you are really just kind of down on yourself. And being that your moon is currently in Taurus, it's hard for you to get out of that. So next year, your moon goes boom, and it full on shifts from that line. It is no longer on that line between your 12th and your first house. It is full on middle of your first house, meaning that you full on finally own exactly who you are. You know that how you approach things, how you approach life is exactly what you get out of it. And it's like almost a rebirth for you, because also it shifts out of Taurus into Gemini. So you learn to leave things behind in the past and not to even worry about them again. Now, your Saturn next year is still in retrograde. But here's the thing. Where it's still tied to your emotions, it's square with your moon, meaning you learn to use it to your advantage. So it also isn't affected. It doesn't affect your communication anymore. So you kind of have to go through this shift of where you are right now with worrying about where you fit into the spiritual aspect of life, where you fit with yourself, how you appear to other people. Like you have to go through that shift. You're literally going to go through a rebirth. And I would say, let me look at something. Let me look at something else. Hang on. Because I can tell you exactly how long it's going to take you to go through this. Okay. So it's going to take you about 4 months for your moon to full on move into your first house. Whoa, hang on. Son of a bitch. Okay. I moved too far and then I couldn't see. Okay. In June next year, your your Jupiter and your moon flip. Okay? So up until June, your moon is and your emotions is what's standing between your personal power, like how you see the world, how you feel about the world. I was freezing a while ago. Now I'm burning the fuck up. Off. And allowing your personal power to full on let you be you. In June, that flips. Not only does it flip, but your personal power is technically on top of your emotions. June is a humongous shift for you. Also, what I find interesting is when they flip, they're both the exact same degree. They're both 23. That's also when it stops affecting your karma. When your karma stops affecting your emotions is in June. June is a humongous, big month for you next year. December of next year is when your moon shifts into Gemini. So you are definitely one of those people that it takes you a bit. Okay, I need to shift. You are not that like this. What sign are you? Oh, you're a Gemini. Okay. So it takes you a while to go through the things. Like you've got to go back and forth a few times before you. Okay. I got you. I got you. I see you now. All right. Let me look at something here. Okay. But this time next year, girl, you're all about cutting out the old. 2023 is a shift for you. It's a big shift for God. Dang, there's a lot of fours. Okay, sorry. I'll tell you in a minute. A lot of threes and a lot of fours. But 46% of your chart is mutable signs, meaning change, meaning letting stuff go. This is a year from now, year from today. Okay? Is letting stuff go. 33% is fixed, is knuckling down and doing things so you can let other things go. Here's where all the fours come in. This time next year, 40% of your chart is water and 40% of your chart is earth. Literally opposing signs. But here's the thing with opposing signs. Earth and water, even though they're opposing, work amazingly well together. And remember how I said that you tend to be too grounded sometimes? That water will help balance you back out. Let me see if these fours continue. Yep. 4, 4, 4, 3, and 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3. Okay. So 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are going to be your numbers next year. Really 4. So I'd say like 70-30. Thank you for that, love. You have an interesting year coming up, Andrea. And here's the thing. Seeing how your moon shifts like that and seeing where it shifts from. You are absolutely going to set yourself up to move forward into 2024 with a lot less baggage. And I'm going to say with less people that are here around you now. Does that make sense? Cutting off the heads of the snakes in a way. It's going to be a massive year of personal growth for you, honey. A massive year of personal growth for you. So, I hope that helps. I hope that helps. All right, Miss Karen Wood, you ready? I have Karens. I was like, I'm pretty sure I have Karens. Okay. I'm going to take a potty break real quick because if I don't, I'm just going to keep on reading and then I'm going to be like, I really have to pee. I'll be right back. Hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't do that anymore. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. My son's dog has just been barking at literally everything lately. It's kind of killing me. Not gonna lie. All right. Ready? So these reads, for those of you guys who are just joining, these reads right here, I still have several to get through tonight. I am streaming them on YouTube. I will be doing them again Sunday, and I'll be doing them again like Sunday night, and then I'll be doing them again on the 23rd during the day. So you can get tickets. You don't have to be here for them because I'm streaming them on YouTube. You can go back and watch them at your convenience or watch them repeatedly or whatever you want to do. I will be doing a few more, okay? And while I'm looking at Miss Karen's, I'm going to be a good diabetic and check my sugar because it was all low a while ago. Not that I don't like eating cookies, but I don't eat a lot of sugar. And so whenever I don't understand this either. This is why meat sacks are stupid. Because you would think that if your sugar got low, you'd get hungry. You'd be wanting to eat. You'd be craving sweets, right? You get nauseated and then you don't want to eat. And when your sugar gets high, you want to eat everything and you crave sugar. Like what? What? That is faulty design. That is just, you can't tell me that's not faulty design. Come on now. Ow, shit, fuck. That was my knee. It is faulty design. Because you would think just like a car, if you got low on oil, your oil light comes on and goes, hey, bitch, I need oil. You would think your body would go, hey, bitch, I need sugar. You want all the sugary shit. No. It's dumb. I see old Ashley Speakman right there. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. How are you, Miss Ashley? Yeah, it is. It's dumb. It's faulty design. It's pure faulty design. The universe, fuck that. All right, Karen. I'll quit bitching. You want salt? See, when my sugar crashes, I get so nauseated, I can't stand myself. So it's all I can do to fucking put food in my face. And I don't really eat much sugar at all. So anything sweet, it's too much for me. Dumb. I'm good, Sweet Pea. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're good. All right, Miss Karen. You are a spiky girl. So you had a lot of things in retrograde when you were born. Mercury was in retrograde. Your Venus was in retrograde. Your Neptune, your Uranus, and your Pluto. So you've had a lot of shit to overcome. All right. Nothing in your first house, nothing in your second house. Meaning you really weren't too concerned with your self-appearance when you were younger. And you also weren't super concerned with like materialism when you were younger either. All right. Still nothing in your first house. So it's not that you don't care how you look. It's that you don't really care how other people see you. Like what you see is what you get with you. And there's nothing going to change that. So, yeah. Ooh, what the fuck is that? Hang on. So when you were born, your moon and your Jupiter were in your 5th house. So that is your creativity, your childlike attitude, etc. I would bet you were a super creative child. Like when you were playing with toys, you had this whole life thing planned out for all these. Like they had backstories and their backstory had backstory and their backstory's backstory had backstory. Like you were that uber creative kid. So both of those were in your 5th house. Both of those were also in Gemini. So the reason that I stopped is because I noticed that, I was talking about what was in retrograde, and your Uranus was in retrograde in your 12th house when you were born. So that is healing and karma and so on. But Now, now your moon is smack dab in the middle of your 12th house. Not only is it in your 12th house, it's at 12 degrees. It's 12, 22, 12 in your 12th house. Like, come on now. Come on now. That's why I was like, what the fuck? Holy fuck, there's so many twos in your chart. Your moon is at 12 degrees in your 12th house. Your Venus and your Mars are both at 29 degrees. Yeah, you can't make this shit up. Your Mercury is at 22 degrees. Your Saturn, your Karma, 12 degrees. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. And it's almost a Merkabah. Actually, it is a Merkabah. You literally have a Merkabah in your chart right now. So the first part of it, the upside down triangle part, starts at your sun and Jupiter, which your sun is in your 4th house, which is your home, your roots, your foundation, how you see yourself. So that right now is very, very strong. And it's guiding how you do everything. It also sits right on the line with your Jupiter, which is also in Gemini, but it's right on the line of your 3rd and 4th house, which is your way of thinking. So your personal power, your way of thinking, goes between that deeper aspect of you and your roots. Like those two firmly make up your personal power. So that's where the bottom of this triangle is. Then it goes to your Pluto, which is in your 8th house, and that's your intimacy. And that's actually in retrograde. So that's something that you're working on right now because you're having a problem letting people in. And then the other part of this triangle over here is your moon at that 12, 22, 12. Sorry, I had to giggle from it. It's in Aquarius. 12 is like ending, it's healing, it's spirituality, and Aquarius tends to be a little dreamy and so on. So that means your emotions are a little dreamy and so on. That's actually a pretty good balance, okay? Then your other triangle is your Uranus, which is barely in your 10th house. That's your long-term goals. Goes down to where your your Venus and your Mars in the 29s is in your 2nd house. You see what I'm saying? Like, girl, the twos are, my eyebrow itches. This is dumb. The twos are insane. And the other triangle of that is over here to your 6th house where your karma is, your Saturn is, and it's in Leo. And that's all about your habits and your usefulness and how you feel you can be of service. You are in an amazing time in your life right now. You're in an amazing time in your life right now. You have shifted and changed so much. I'm going to sneeze. Told you. You've shifted and changed so much. I can't wait. I'm going to forward you a year because I want to see. I want to see. Okay. You having a Merkabah right now means that you've shifted, you've changed, you've healed, you are healing, you are moving, you are okay. So it's not nice to come into someone else's live and start advertising your own shit, guys. Okay? It's not cool. If I see it or my mods see it, I just happen to see it before my mod saw it, I will mute you. Okay? That's not cool. That is not cool. I don't do that to anyone else. In fact, if I go into someone else's live who does the exact same thing I do, I usually gives gifts and encourage and everything like that. I don't sit in there and go, oh yeah, come over to my live. Come over. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Huh. TikTok just told me that I've been live for 120 minutes and I should take a break. I just went pee, TikTok. Okay. Karen. Right now, you're in a fantastic healing point of your life. You know what I mean? Fantastic healing point of your life. So let's look at this next year. What's going to change? What's going to shift? So your moon is still in the same, it's in the same house. It's still in the twos, except now it's 26, 6, 12. But wait. Okay. I'm on crap. Don't listen to me. All right. What I love about it is you learn it is full on square with with words, with your Mercury, with your communication, which slips into Taurus, and that's in your third house, and that's your mind. This right here, that little thing doesn't sound like a huge thing, but that's humongous, and it's fantastic because all of this healing that you're doing, it tells me that at the end of this year, in 1 year from now, you have full on learned how to speak your emotions extremely eloquently, well put together, a little stubbornly. So instead of taking no for an answer, or when someone kind of, everybody knows somebody that when you start talking emotionally to them, they either cut you off or they one up you, or they literally just don't listen. They act like they're listening, but they don't listen. Then there are people that can speak so eloquently that they can get their words through to anybody. That's where you're going to be. That's where you're going to be. That's what 2023 is bringing into you. And here's the thing too. Your 23 was a big number in your chart, and it still is, because your Mercury sits at 23. Your Venus and your Mars switch places. Let me see, what were they in before? I think they're still, okay. So currently, right now at this moment, your Venus and your Mars are at 29 in your second house. And so Venus is here, Mars is here, and they're both in Aries, okay? I don't know how, they're both in Aries like this. So your second house is your material aspects of yourself. It's your money, it's your income, okay? So they do this. They shift down and they do this. So they go from Aries to Taurus in 0. 38, 38, 0. They're just completely in line with each other. That's balance. That's balance. They're balanced now, but this is perfect balance. They're at the same conjunction. They're in the same house. They're in the same degree. Perfect fucking balance. Your 2023 is a year of healing. It's a year of you finding your voice, and it's a year of you balancing your masculine and feminine. 2024 is going to be the year that you bust the fucking doors off. This next year is setting you up so you are the perfect you to move forward into 2024. So if you have big goals, if you have goals you're wanting to hit, next year is the year to put the foundational work in. It is absolutely all the foundational work. Let me go look at your repeating numbers, because like I said, the 2s were massive, massive with you. Wow. Okay. So when I look at your cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs, 46.7% is mutable. So this is at the end of next year. This is a year from today. That is ending. That is you ending things. Okay. 46.7 is also fixed. That is you knuckling down so you can end more things. You only have 6% cardinal signs this time next year, but that's fine. That's fine, because you're ending all the bullshit and you're getting rid of some more. Your other signs, here's the thing I love too, and we just talked about your communication, is 33% of your chart at this time next year is air, which is logic, it's communication, it's processing your ideas and information intellectually and getting it across to people how it needs to be portrayed. Your earth and your fire are both 26.7, perfectly even, meaning that you have the drive and you're grounded and moving forward. Now, the only thing that bothers me a little bit is your intuition is small. It's 13.3. It's not like a sliver, and it's still a decent chunk, but still. See again, the 2s. All right, let me look here. 2, 2, 2, 2, 22, 22, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yep. 2 is absolutely your lucky number. And I will say here, when I'm looking at your aspects, which are, these are when people say this is in conjunction with this and opposition and parallel and square. That's what this is. Every one of your signs in this chart has multiple placements, multiple aspects. It is going to be a complex year for you. it is going to be a very complex year for you. Okay? So don't stress, because I know you said I need more intuition. Don't stress about that too much. Okay? Because this next year is going to be complex with all of the things that you're going to be dealing with and healing from and moving through, etc. You need the logic. You need the logic next year. So trust your gut. I mean, always trust your gut, but you need the logic in 2023. That's where your strong suit lies, is logic. Okay? So don't stress. Don't stress about the intuition. It is going to bother you. I know it bothers everybody when they're like, I wish my intuition could be stronger. It's okay. It's okay. Like, it's, you know what I mean? So, yeah, choose your lucky number, gal. And it's absolutely going to be an interesting, complex year for you next year. But, man, 2024 is going to be utterly, you're just going to bust it out of the water. You're just going to bust it out of the water. It makes me so happy for you. I need to get my ass in gear. I'm going to be reading all night. Go. All right, Miss Tashana Martin. Have I pulled your chart before, girl? Let me look. I swear, if that dog barks all night, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn my radio up. Girl, every single one of your placements is like squished way down here between your 1st and your 5th house. Every single one. All the Sagittarius placements. You are all fire and earth. This is so funny. I mean, you have a couple air and 1 water, but you are all fire and earth. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's look at today. Ooh, shit, fuck. Okay. Hang on. Let me go back. Remember, I just said you were all squished between your 1st and your 5th house, right? Everything is like this, and there's very few lines. Like, even though I was making fun of you for all the Sagittarius placements and the earth placements and so on, you were very firm in who you are. You were very focused, like with who you were, with family, with your roots, with even your Venus was in the 5th house, which is romance and love. And that's in Capricorn, which they're super, super loyal. So I cannot with him. When I move it to today, whoo, doggy. When you were born, your moon was in Capricorn, in your 4th house, which is home, emotion, foundation, etc. So you really overthink everything having to do with home, having to do with emotions, with your foundation, with your family. Like, you really have some issues there. You really overthink it. What I said whoa for is because this is down here. Like, your 4th house is almost, so there's a like a big T, a big cross in the middle of your transit chart, right? All of your stuff sits down here. Your 3rd and your 4th houses are right here, okay? That line is directly here. This is where your moon sits, right? I explained it that way for a reason, because when I go to today, your moon goes from here to like straight up. And not only is it straight up, it's in your 9th house, which is wisdom, philosophy, learning, ethics, how you move forward, and it's in Cancer. It literally went bam. And it's square with your divine masculine, which is in your 12th house, which is things ending. That is also in your Libra. So you have 3 Libra placements currently. One is your Mars, one is your Saturn, and one is your Pluto. So your Mars is in your 12th house, which is things ending, things healing, etc. That is coming into balance. That's also square with your moon. You're dealing with a lot when it comes to connecting to your divine masculine. And currently your Venus is in retrograde. So you're having an issue connecting to your divine feminine. But the other 2 Libra placements are your karma and your Pluto, which is how you feel you need to look to the outer world. So, and those two are in your first house, which is self-appearance, the beginning. It's your identity, your approach to life. You're going through currently and this moment right now, me talking to you. You are going through a massive leveling out, balancing of those three aspects: your divine masculine, your karma, and how you appear, you want to appear to the outside world. The interesting thing too is that in your first house is your Jupiter, which is your personal power, and that bitch is in Scorpio. So you're owning it, like you're full on owning this balance. I know this is coming into balance. Don't give a shit who knows. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to push forward with it. Like, I don't give a shit what you think. It's really a good place to be, just because I know you personally, and so I know some of the stuff going on. It's exactly where you need to be. But here's the thing. Your 5th, 6th, and 7th, 5th through 8th house, there's nothing there. So that's your romance. That's your intimacy, that's your relationship aspects, and that's your health and so on. There's no placements there at all. Like, you have just cut any type of romantic love, attraction, any of that out. The problem with that, not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, because sometimes it's what has to happen. Your creativity is gone. Some of the way that you connected to nature, the way that you look at your finances. Not saying you don't look at them, but you know what I'm saying. Like, the other thing that really didn't feel good. You don't have anything in your 10th or 11th house right now as of this moment either, which is your long-term goals and your social aspect of you, meaning that those are kind of out the window as well. You're not sure how you want to look, where you want to go. You're just kind of up in there. So now I'm really curious to see a year from now. Bet. So remember how I was just laughing because your moon goes kabam, like straight up, right? And right now it's at 11, like 11 degrees. It's in the 9th house, which is travel, wisdom, philosophy, learning, so on. Next year, this time next year, you still have a lot of these things in balance. In fact, your Mars, your Saturn, your Mercury, your Pluto, and your Jupiter all are in the same positions. They're in the same houses and everything, okay? Your moon, however, shifts over to your 10th house, still in Cancer, but shifts into your 10th house. That's long-term goals and careers. It tells me that this next year, you get a very firm grasp on where you want to go from here. The other thing I love too is that your moon is still a square with those other things I was talking about, but now it's in a direct line with who you are. Okay, let me look, because this is actually fantastic, because seeing where your moon is right now, it's almost like, and not having anything in that 10th house, when you guys don't have a placement in your 10th house at any given point, it can make you feel adrift. Like, yes, I have goals. Yes, I have things I want to do. Yes, I have this, but I'm not sure how I want to get there. So when you have a placement there, especially that placement, and it's directly in line with your sun, with who you are, that's a huge thing. Well, fuck me in the face. Okay. So this might be one of the bigger ones I've seen. 60% of your chart is cardinal signs at this time next year. 60. Flat even 60. That is moving forward. It's ambition, it's drive. And then 20 and 20 with your fixed and mutable, meaning that those two are in balance with ending. So you're going to end a lot of things this next year. You're going to end a lot of things this next year to where you feel comfortable rocketing forward. On the other side with your elements, your air is 40% of your chart. Processing everything, logically and moving forward, sharing your ideas. Your fire is 26%, which is your drive, you're moving forward. I do love that your water is 20%, because that is your intuition. So you have just enough intuition to keep you from making like all the too logical decisions and not thinking things through and trusting your gut. The only thing I don't like is that your earth is only 13%. So one thing you're going to have to watch at this time next year is not moving forward too fast. Not moving forward crazy fast, okay? What sign were you when you were born? Let me go back and look. Let me go back and look. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you were Sagittarius, but then I was like, maybe you better look first, bitch, before you say it. All right. Okay. So let me look here. I see a lot of fours. A lot of fours. 43, 41, those two numbers repeat over and over. There are a lot of 44s. So yeah, it's 43, 41, 44. So fours. Next year is between now and this time next year. There's going to be a lot of things that you're letting go of. A lot of things that you're letting go of. But you getting back in line with your long-term goals and with who you are, letting that be aligned is fantastic. Now, I don't see any changes with love life. I don't see any changes with intimacy. I don't see any changes with that. That's still wide open right there. But sometimes we have to protect our focus to move forward to where we need to be. So, do it big or not at all is exactly it. It's exactly what's going to happen. It's exactly what's going to happen. But this is definitely a big, big year of moving forward and processing a lot of things. Processing a lot of things. Okay? A lot of things. You're just going to have to be careful not to be too lopsided and to actually do some things for you that aren't goal related. Okay? That is literally the pot calling the kettle black. But you're going to have to do some things for you that are not goal related. Otherwise, you're going to burn yourself out next year. Okay? Good night, love. I hope you sleep well. That helped, Miss Tashana? All right. Miss Laura Crone. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Have I ever mentioned to you guys that sometimes I hate the way that my website works? I'm like, I just want you to work, sir. Some of it is probably just me and my computer. I knew I had pulled Laura's card before. All right, let's look here. You're welcome. You're getting me late at night. You're welcome. All right, Miss Laura. So, looking at when you were born here, you have everything in your first house through your 7th. No. 1st through 5th, 12th, and 7th. Nothing is in your 6th house. This is when you were born. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I'm like trying to click on something and move it. I'm like, stop it. Just move. There's nothing in your 6th house, which is your analytical nature, your health, your fitness, etc. 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th. So when you were a kid, you really had no idea what you wanted to be when you grow up. You really didn't have anything long-term goal-wise. You know what you wanted to do. So I bet that as a kid and growing up, you fucking hated it when people would be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You'd be like, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, man. Or you had a different answer for them every time. Like you had a hard time picking what you wanted to do and moving forward. You also had a hard time letting people in as a kid. Oh, because you're a Pisces. Okay. Okay. And your Venus and your Mars are both in Aries when you were born. Woo! Okay. At 16 and 26. Okay, sorry. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. But I digress. Let's look at right now. All right. Right now. Now you have, well, technically 3 things in your 10th house, which is your career, your long-term goals, etc. Like, you know where you want to go. And now there's nothing in your 6th through your 9th house. So you still have a problem letting people in. You still have a problem with love and intimacy and so on. And your Mars is in Taurus, meaning that that's your romance and your love is in your 5th house right there. So you're kind of like, give me the love or fuck off. That was probably a little extreme, but not. I mean, what I love is that I just hit myself in the eye. What I love is that your lines where everything is conjunct and so on in the middle of your transit chart, they go from decently simple to decently simple. They're not crazy complex. They don't ebb and flow like this crazy amount. It makes me really happy. You are also one of those people, what you see is what you get, and you do not like people to pretend to be someone they're not around you. Like, you are who you are, and you expect other people to be that way. And so when you find out that other people are not that way, it does, like, it pisses you off and it hurts you deep at the same time. Okay, so let me fast forward this 1 year later. So your moon moves from your 10th house to your 11th house. That is the biggest shift. Ooh, wait, go back. That is not the biggest shift. It is, well, it is the biggest shift, but let me tell you why it's the biggest shift. Okay, first, so your moon right now at this moment, as we are talking, is in your 10th house. That is your career, it's your long-term goals, and it's in Libra, meaning that you are balancing all of that out right now. In a year from now, it shifts down into Scorpio. A year from today, you have 4 Scorpio placements. Your moon being full on in the middle of them. Your moon also shifts into your 11th house, which is social awareness. It's your hopes for the future and so on. But the other big change, like, that's a massive jump. That's a massive jump. The other thing that changes, though, when your moon shifts down, it also becomes square with both your personal power, which is in Aquarius, which is extremely creative and dreamy, and your divine masculine, which is still in Taurus. That's also your drive and your push forward. All of those are like that. These peas and carrots. Let me look at something else. Let me look at something right here. Here's what I like about this. Like I said, you are that person that everything is how it is. Like, you are, what you see is what you get. You like everything to be even, balanced, period. At this time next year, both your cardinal and your fixed signs are 40% of your chart, 40 and 40, meaning you are ready to push forward. Now, here's the other kicker. Your fire is also 40% next year, meaning that at this time next year, even if somebody tried to move the world to stop you from moving forward, still wouldn't work. Still wouldn't work. Those two being completely even like that, 40 and 40, there is literally no stopping you. There is no stopping you. Having 40% in the fixed also, that is perseverance and pushing forward. And then 20% is mutable, which is change and ending and so on. On your elements, we talked about the fire. but you have 26% in water, 20% in air, and 13 in earth. So you're going to have to be careful that you don't rush forward too fast, that you have some plans in place, but the other ones are pretty decently spaced out. I mean, your earth's a little small, but that's what I was saying. You just have to be careful you don't rush forward. The only thing, I went back to your transit chart. I'm looking at something, and I'm going to look at the numbers. The only thing that I see that I worry about is that your Saturn is in Scorpio, and it is in retrograde at this time next year in your 11th house. So you're going to have to be really, really careful to the social things around you, the social cues, what's going on in the world. And that is also directly in line with your communication. I couldn't words with your communication. And that is in retrograde. So you're going to have to make sure that you are really being careful to communicate correctly. Don't communicate like I do and be like, rah, 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 and then I can't talk. Just say what I'm saying. All right. Lots of sevens. All kinds of fucking sevens. On both aspects. All the sevens. All the sevens. 7 is your number next year. It's absolutely your number next year. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, 7 is absolutely your number next year, hon. That's fantastic. There's a massive amount of shit. Oh, sorry. I hit the wrong button. I'm like, no, I thought I just fucked up. Redo that. Okay. Like, the only thing that's going to hold you back is your own emotional self. You have a lot of things. Let me go month by month, and I can tell you exactly when this massive shift happens. Okay, so in July, your moon is right on the line of your 10th and 11th house. And in September of next year, it goes, like, it doesn't just barely go, it jumps and down into your 11th house. So you are going to have to be really careful, because you're going to be basically fighting against your own emotional self. That's the only aspect that I would worry about. Literally the only aspect I would worry about. And in November of next year is, okay, hang on. There we go. September of next year is a big month for you, because not only does your moon make that massive jump, but that's when it also decides to be completely in line with your personal power. And when it goes in line with your personal power, in November is when you are completely in line with your divine masculine. So, thank you, Harmony Love. I fixed my socks. I have like these badass Bonnie and Clyde socks on, but they literally come up past my knee, and so I have to push them down, and then it's like they cut my leg off. They cut my leg off. So, does that help, Miss Laura? Does that help? Fight with your emotional self? Well, because you're Pisces. That's because you're a Pisces. That's something most Pisces do struggle with. So here's my recommendation, though, because I know several Pisces. I know some people that are younger than me. I know some people right about my age, and I know some people older. Of the older people, the older Pisces that I know, they either learn how to handle their emotions back and forth, or they shut them off. Don't be the one that shuts them off. Okay? Don't be the one that shuts them off. You're fine, Tiff. Miss Whitney. I don't think I've pulled yours yet, have I? Nope. Whitney gets a clean, squeaky chart. Wait, squeaky, clean chart? Clean, squeaky chart? I don't know. Either way, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I wish you guys could hear the music in my head, but I'm not going to sing it to you because it would be terrible. It would be terrible. You guys would all leave in mass numbers. Like, hell no. Oh, son of a bitch. There we go. Damn. All right. Goldfish. Yeah, don't shut them off, babe. Learn how to operate in the middle. Learn how to use them to your advantage, okay? And also watch that gifting aspect, because I know you Pisces are gifters. That can get you in some trouble too. Just saying what I'm saying. My Venus is in Pisces. I know this. It's not a good night unless I have 3 drinks. And I actually, I finished 1. I had 4. I'm down to 3. And I'm dropping goldfish on the floor. All right, Whitney. Ooh, damn. All right, Whitney. You and I get to kind of high five through the phone, through the YouTube, because we both have a ton of Capricorn placements. Like, you have 4, girl. 4. I have 5, but you have 4. But you have 4 and a Taurus. So technically 5 Earth placements. I'm looking at your chart when you were born. Snacking on the fish. And you're in Aries. Oh, Lord. You are like all rush forward. Okay. Dang. You are so fucking hard on yourself. It's not even funny. And your karma, your Saturn, and your moon are in Capricorn in your 2nd house. In fact, your moon is at 2 in your 2nd house. Your 2nd house is like money, income, materialism, etc. And Capricorns are already kind of materialistic without meaning to be. So you definitely fight with yourself on the keeping up with the Joneses. But it's not even other people, it's you. Like, you fight with yourself on it. You're always in competition with your own self. Okay. Nothing in your 6th chart when you were born, 6th house, excuse me, which is health, fitness, analytical nature. Nothing in 8th or 9th or 10th house, which is intimacy. It's your travel, your wisdom, your philosophy, your long-term goals. Nothing in your 12th house, which is endings and closure, which is good. Because when I see somebody that doesn't have anything in their 12th house, it tells me that there's not really a lot of things they came here in this life to end. Does that make sense? Like, to cut off, to deal with. You are a complicated kiddo. Holy shit. Like, you were complicated to begin with, but now. And please don't take that the bad way, okay? Currently, right now, in this moment, your sun is in Taurus. Your Mercury is in Taurus. Your sun is in your 4th house, meaning that you are really finding out who you are. Who makes Whitney, Whitney? What makes Whitney, Whitney? And you have no problem communicating it, because your communication is in your 3rd house, and that is literally your mind, your communication, your interests, etc. Your moon is just barely in your 2nd house, and it's in Pisces, along with your divine masculine. Your second house is money, income, so on. You still have 3 Capricorn placements right now in this moment. 2 of them are in your first house, which is your self-appearance, and Capricorns already have a problem with that. So right now, when Saturn is your karma, so right now that's in retrograde. So here's the thing. Here's what that tells me. You've had something happen recently that has made you have to get over a little bit of being really worried about how you look. But you're a complicated kiddo. And here's the thing. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I used to hate it. I used to feel so bad. You know, I wanted to be a simple girl. And then when I realized I was never, ever going to be a simple person, and I really started thinking about it, I don't want to be simple. I am just fine being a complicated motherfucker. I am just fine with it. So guys, when people try to put you down saying that, well, I just need someone simple in my life, fine. Go find someone simple. I am not simple. I've also found that people that are very complicated, very complex, like when I'm seeing your birth chart, there are fucking lines everywhere in this transit chart. There are numbers all over the place. There are retrogrades. There's this. There's like, it's just bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, that's complicated. You are a very old soul. Old souls are complicated. Younger souls are simpler. Old souls are very complicated and complex because they have been through the shit. They have been through the shit. So, never ever let anyone make you feel bad about being complex. So there's nothing currently right now in your 7th, 8th, or 9th house. So that is love, intimacy, and philosophy. There's also nothing in your 11th house, which is wanting to be socially active. There's nothing in your 5th house, which is romance and love. So right now, love is just not, it's not on the radar for you. I think that you probably, where's your Venus? Your Venus is in Aries. So, and in your 3rd house, which is your mind, your thinking. So you think about it a lot. You'd like to have like a really nice, serious, happy, lovey-lovey relationship, but it's not a have to have. You realize it's kind of, it is what it is. Okay. Let's look at next year, because now I'm curious. Okay. You get more complicated. You get way more complicated. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You get way more complicated in a good way. Well, I keep moving back and forth, because right now, a lot of this complication, a lot of these lines and so on, they're triangular, like they're in trine in 3s with something else, okay? While that's good and that's balanced, you really want to see things in square, because that is everything really connecting and really falling into place. What I love is that when I forward it to this time next year, almost all of those, so the triangle lines are green on this chart, the square lines are red. Almost all of that green goes to red. Your moon also shifts from Pisces into Aries, and it shifts into your 3rd house, meaning, hang on, and your communication is in Taurus. So you still have this amazing aspect. You end up having 4 things in your 3rd house at this time next year. So you have 3 right now. One of them is just your Vesta, and I'm not really looking at that much. So you have your Mercury and your Venus in your 3rd house now. They stay there, and then your moon shifts over. Does your 3rd house get bigger? It does. Okay. And your personal power is in your 6th house. Okay. You really have started to find your sense of purpose. And it really solidifies next year. Or over this next year. Okay. Let me look at something. Okay. So you're complicated. So I got to go back and forth. Like, okay, let me look at this. 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 Okay. So right now, I'm looking at like your attributes, okay? Right now, 53% of your chart is ready to move forward. It's cardinal sign. 33% is fixed, which is knuckling down. Oh, shit. Okay. I see here's what's going on right now. Okay? This is why you feel lost. It's funny you say that because I was just fixating this. 46% of your chart right now is earth. 40% is water. And 13% is fire. There's no air. There's no air. Meaning you're overly grounded. You're overly intuitive. And you have a little bit of passion of moving forward. But yet everything in you wants to move forward. All of this cardinal need to push forward is fighting against all of this ground. You're too grounded. Okay? So now let me go forward a year. Okay. It gets worse. Sorry. I couldn't think of a nice way to say it, so I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. But there are some other changes, so we're going to go back through that. It gets worse. 60% of your chart at this time next year is cardinal sign. 33% is mutable still. Only 6.7 is ending stuff. So you're going to have to be really, really careful this next year to not take on too much in trying to move forward. In the sake of moving forward, like, oh yeah, I can totally do that and this and this and this and this. You're going to have to really fight that because here's the thing. Your earth gets bigger. Well, actually your fire gets bigger. Your earth is still 46.7%. Your water is 33 and your fire is 20. You making me go down and look at all the numbers. Because most of your aspects are in the north, which is the subconscious. So your emotions, your communication, your divine masculine and feminine, and your personal power, and your karma, and your outlook are all subconscious. And then the vast majority of them are in your East Meridian, which is people that, or this is the energy you're putting out. You're literally butting heads with your own self still, okay? We're all difficult, babe. Don't stress about that. Let me go back to your chart here. Actually, let me look at something else. 9s. Fucking 9s. 9 is your number this next year. Your chart is full of 9s. You have a lot of things where I said a lot of things get square. There's also a lot of things that are in opposition to each other, such as your personal power and your outlook, where you want to go. Okay. Your communication and how you want to appear to others. So here's the thing. Here's the thing for next year. I'm really happy that your moon moves out of that second house and into the third house. I'm really happy that your Jupiter is in your sixth house, that it's now full on square with all this other stuff. The 3 things that are still in retrograde are your Saturn, your Uranus, and your Neptune. And your Uranus is literally right on the line of your 12th and your first house. like where it comes all the way full circle. You're kind of fighting karma this next year. Let me look at something. Let me look at something else. Okay. So, don't shoot messenger. This next year, up to August of 24, is literally you letting go of things. It is you starting to simplify. Now, I don't mean that you're going to start being a simple person. What I mean is you cutting things out of your life that no longer matter. The fact that you have a lot of cardinal placements, how does it look then? Okay, that's when you finally get some water back into your chart. Is August of 2024. And I know that you're like, that's a long time away. It is and it's not. Because when you have an old soul and when you're complicated, like I said, those go hand in hand. Your soul has to take a little bit to figure some things out, to get done, to get through, etc. It's going to take you a bit to work some of this out. So, seeing that there's a ton of 9s in your chart, seeing that you have so many lines and things in conjunction, out of conjunction, square, trine, etc. Seeing that you have so much of this stuff, and seeing that you have so much to do over the next year and a half, a little over a year and a half. Honey, I would say that this is probably your last go around. I would say that once you're done with this meat sack, once you're done with this life, this is your senior year. And somebody put you in honors classes without asking. Actually, I think you probably asked for them. You just don't remember it. Just from looking at this and just from seeing how much is there. You're definitely, it's your senior year and you're in honors classes. Let me look at something else. Oh, what was that? In March of 2025, it simplifies down even more. So, this right here, I would bet probably the last, you making me really work. Oh God, this last year has just fucking sucked, hadn't it? 2020 wasn't great, but 2021 was hard as fuck on you. So was 2019 and 2018. Okay. So, this is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're literally getting all the hard shit out of the way. So, like toward the end over here, you can kind of coast along. But it's still going to be like I said, like a year and a half. But the good thing about it is, remember how I was like, damn, you're complicated, aren't you? In August of 2025, or 2024, excuse me, half of these lines just disappear. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you suddenly turn into a simple person. It's that you go and cut shit out of your life. I don't think that the next year is going to be hard. I think that it's going to level, if that makes sense. Just because of the way some of this shit moves and changes and the way that it turns square to each other, it's like you have epiphany after epiphany after epiphany this next year. And I would bet that you make a lot of changes and changes and changes and changes. And so people around you are probably going to be like, why the hell do you keep changing stuff? You were just doing this and now you're doing this and now you're doing this. It's okay. Let them wonder, because it's not for them to understand. It's for you to understand. So yeah, I really feel like you've been through the worst of the worst at this point, because I fast forwarded your chart like several years and was looking at it. It doesn't get more complicated. It doesn't. 2021 was the most complicated year that you've had. From like this time last year to now was the most complicated year you've had, followed by 2019 and 2018. Okay? So, I don't think you have to stress too much about things continuing to be crazy. Thank you, Miss Christine. Okay? Like, you've been through the worst. You've been through the worst of it. And now it just kind of slowly starts to do this. Step down. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. I hope that helps, Miss Whitney. And like I said, you're an old soul. You're a complicated soul. I would bet that you have a hard time getting people to understand you, or people have a hard time understanding you. I get you. I see you. All right, Miss Dana Chavez. Good night, Miss Christine, honey. I'm going to be up for a while, obviously. Another Okie. All right, Miss Dana. Ready? Okay. Another Okie and another fellow Earth sign. I got you. So nothing in your 11th, your 12th, your 1st, your 2nd house when you were born. Okay. So social aspects, cutting things off, self-appearances, and being materialistic. Pretty much everything else is like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, your moon's in Libra. Okay. You like balance. You're happy when you have balance. Okay. I got you. Oh, shit. Sorry. Like I said, you know, everything was kind of balanced. You just have this little swatch right here. When you were born, there was nothing in those 4 houses. Like I said, you like things even. You like balance. Those 4 houses, everything is pretty square. Forward to now. And everything goes like that. Everything goes from the majority of your chart to 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Whoop. So you go from not having everything, not having anything in like 4 places to having everything in just like 4 places. You do have one thing in your 1st house now. It's your Saturn, and it's in Aries. It's your Saturn, which is your karma. And that's at yourself and your appearances in the beginning. Okay. Girl. Oh, you are just fighting with yourself all over the fucking place. Woo! So you have 3 Virgo placements currently right now. Your Divine Feminine, your Pluto, which is how you feel you need to look to other people, And your Neptune, which is how you see your goals and where you're going. Those are all in your sixth house, which is how useful you feel and your health and fitness and so on. So right now you're trying to put certain feminine aspects of yourself out. Like you're really, I don't think you're concerned with how you look, but you are. I don't know if did that make sense? That was just like, that just twisted itself. I think you all know what I'm saying. Like me, I'm vain. I know I'm vain. Like I don't go outside without makeup on and blah, blah, blah. And it's not that I'm worried about who's going to see me. It's me. It's how I like to look. I like to look this way. This is me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. It's how I feel. And that's what I'm saying. That's where you are, Dana. This is how I like. This is how I want. This is what I'm going to do. I really don't care what you guys think, but this is what I like. So that's what I was trying to say. There we go. Maybe I explained it better that way. I'm glad I did. I see. Yes. Okay. So everything is squished over here. The part that you're warring against, because you have those 3 Virgo placements, and then you have 3 Scorpio placements, which is your moon, your Vesta, and your Uranus. And your Uranus is in retrograde. Sorry. My inner 12-year-old cannot say Uranus without laughing. Uranus. Okay. The fact that your moon is there, and the fact that the 8th house is like intimacy and shared finances and so on. Just the fact that moon is there, and the fact that moon is water and Scorpio, it's just like butting heads with all of these Virgos. And your sun is in Cancer right now in your 4th house, which is home and family, meaning you're overly sensitive or shutting everything off. It's one or the other. And your communication is currently in the shitter too. So you're having a problem communicating with family currently, family, friends, etc. So you're either over communicating like blah, 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 or cutting them off too. Thank you, love. The one thing I do like though is that your houses are all exactly even. They are perfectly even right now. Okay, let me forward a year, because we're looking at right now. You still going to be fighting with yourself in the exact same way, except your moon. So right now your moon is almost on the line between your 7th and 8th house. Your moon full on shifts into the middle of your 8th house. But what I love about that is when I'm doing that, remember how I was like, oh damn, it's all squished over here? There are lines everywhere, okay? There are lines fucking everywhere. And a lot of it has to do with your communication. This time next year, there aren't even half of the lines. There aren't even half. And your moon, your emotions are no longer tied to your communication. That is a good thing right there. That is a good thing right there. You're going to go through a massive emotional emotionally maturing year is the best way to say that. And then it sounds like I'm saying you're immature emotionally. I'm not. It's just, we all go through phases, and you're going to be going through one this next year where, and here's the thing, and you can even let your husband listen to this part. So this is at 2:59, 2 hours and 59 minutes in on the YouTube. Okay. So, I'll even explain it to him really well. Okay, so Mr. Dana, listen to me. Okay, this next year, you're going to be going through epiphany after epiphany after epiphany. And being that those placements sit there, words, your sun is sitting there in Cancer, you have your moon in Scorpio. Both of those are water. 40% of your chart is water at this time next year, which is sensitivities, emotions, and intuition. I do appreciate that your earth is the next biggest part. It's 26%. That is about even to, like, if you had everything pretty equal, that one's pretty even, meaning you are finally grounded in who you are. Your fire is 20 and your air is 13. So you are still going to have to be working on processing that information, processing those emotions. The other thing that's interesting is that over half your chart, like 53%, is cardinal moving forward signs. But the other two are decently even, 26 and 20. I don't have too much of a problem with that because your fire is smaller. I'm not actually worried about you taking on too much because your fire is smaller. If your fire was huge, we'd have a problem. What I worry about is you taking on too much emotionally. And here's why I say that. Let me look at something else real quick. 5 is your number too. There's a 5 in every fucking line in your chart. Okay, well, not that line, and not that line. So almost every line in your aspects has a 5 in it. You're going to have to be careful that you don't take on too much emotionally for other people, because your sun being in Cancer right now, your sun being in Cancer a year from now, you're going to want to make things right for everybody. The fact that your sun right now is in your 4th house and it's going to be in Cancer in your 4th house in a year. Cancers love to make things perfect for those around them that they care about. Like, they're very protective of who they care about. The 4th house is all about the home, the foundation, and the people you care about. So you're going to have to be really, really careful that you don't take on too much of their emotions and their burdens and so on. So I would also bet, seeing that and hearing what just come out of my face, you're probably extremely empathic to the point that you pull stuff from other people before you even realize that you do it. So you need to make sure that you are protecting yourself as well, because people that are super empathic, that are able to pull other people's emotions and do it without realizing it, you short yourself out really quickly. Your energy just goes whoop really quickly. So when you're around someone that you care about, say your husband comes home and he's had a really, really shit day, okay? You immediately go into this let me take it away mode. And in an hour, he feels fantastic. He feels so much better. And you are on the floor. You are on the couch. You can't get up. You can't move. So you're going to have to make sure that now that you know you do it, you can kind of start to pull yourself back a little bit. I think that's where this emotional change, this emotional epiphany, this, you know what I mean? I think that's where this is going to come from. Maybe it's me telling you this and explaining it, and that's what kickstarts it. But you're going to have to make sure that you're very careful and you really protect yourself, because if you don't, it is going to cause problems. It's going to wear you the hell down like insane over the next year. But I don't think that it's going to cause problems, because I think that now, you know, you're doing it, you can kind of shield yourself and not take as much, if that makes sense. It's going to be definitely a year of epiphanies for you. It's going to be a year of epiphanies for you. And if you're going to let him listen to this on YouTube, let me say this again, and I'm going to look at YouTube here. Don't put too much on her. Don't give her too much emotions. Don't let her take it all away from you, because she's used to doing it and she's wanting to do it and she's going to do it. So yeah. I would explain it to people like this. Husband's different, because, and I don't know how long you guys have been married, but you're used to that. You're used to him. You're used to his energy. The two of you have a give and a take, a balance. You're there all the time. You know what I mean? Other people, however, that are not living with you, not around you on a daily basis, you need to let them know that you've got to start taking care of you. You have to start taking care of Dana, because if you don't, and you continue to give everybody all of your good and take away all their bad, it's going to burn you out physically. Okay. It's going to cause problems, anxiety, heart problems, palpitations, etc. So let them know that your spiritual advisor told you that you've got to start working on you. You've got to start protecting you. Okay? He's going to be a little different because he's also probably one that gives you energy when you need it. So yeah, you're going to have to make sure that you tell people, hey, fuck off a little bit. All right, Miss Angel Skinner. I was doing good, going really, really fast at first. It is what it is. You're welcome, Miss Dana. Yes, I'm finally getting to you, Miss Angel. Thank you for waiting, sweet pea. All right. You have an interesting birth chart. Half of your placements are down here, half are up here. Everything is in your 3rd, 5th, one thing in your 6th, or your 8th, 9th, and 10th. So your moon is in Taurus in your 3rd house, which is deep thinking. Oh my God, you are like, you have some dark moments, don't you? Because your communication is also in Taurus, also in your 3rd house, meaning that you overthink almost everything. Not only do you overthink almost everything, but you beat yourself up over almost everything. And all of the placements up on the top, there's 5 of them, all in retrograde when you were born. So you have a problem owning your own personal power, accepting that you're a beautiful person on the outside as well as the inside, your dreams and ambitions. Oh, goodness, baby. I just want to hug you. I just want to hug you looking at your birth chart. Like, I just want to hug you. Okay. Let's look at now. Ooh, you turned into a complex person. Okay. So the good thing is you had 2 placements in Sagittarius in your 10th house. So your 10th is long-term, career, etc. Now there's nothing in your 10th house. This has its good and its bad. It has its good because you have gotten those things off your plate. You have gotten those things off your plate. You no longer have those 2 things working against your long-term goals. The bad of it is you now have no idea really what you want to do. There's nothing in that 10th house. And everything down here is like twisted and turned and this and that and this and that. Oh, and your moon went from your 3rd house, your mind and your thinking and your communication, to your 7th house, which is relationships. And okay. And it's in Scorpio now. The good thing is your Saturn is no longer in retrograde. And it's in Libra. And it is right on the line of your 7th and 6th houses, which is relationships and health. So I love that, because whatever karmically your soul came here to do, it's done. It has done it. So you have fixed that aspect of yourself. You have also fixed how you appear to the outer world. You're still dealing with it because it's in Libra. It needs balance right now. You're still dealing with it, but nowhere like you were. Okay, let's see what this next year brings. Let's see. And then I'm going to look at something else. So the good thing is your Saturn, like, doesn't move much at all. At all. It just stays right on that line. In fact, it gets more firmly on that line. Your moon also stays in Scorpio. In fact, it just goes up into Scorpio even deeper. Not only does it go up even deeper into Scorpio, it's also directly in line with your Mars, which is in Cancer. Your Mars is also in your third house, meaning that this is your divine masculine in the deepest recesses of your thoughts here. Okay, let me look. Okay. Now let me look at this. Let me go back. Now. Okay. So one thing I'm going to say. Not too crazy much is going to... Whoa, what did I just do? Okay, never mind. I was like, oh no, I hit the button. But it didn't do anything. Not too crazy much is going to change from right now to next year. Here's what that tells me, because I'm looking at your cardinal, fixed, immutable signs, your elements, everything like that. It's literally the same. Your cardinal signs are 53%. Your mutable signs, that end part, is 33%, and your fixed sign is 13%. On your elements, your fire is 33%. Your water and your air, I almost keep saying earth. Your air is 26.7, and your earth is 13.3. So here's the thing. I just lost my train of thought. A, you need to work on grounding yourself over this next year. Let me go back and look at my brain, because I was like, there was somewhere I was going with this. Oh, I remember where I was going with this. What this tells me, and I'm going to go back just to make sure that I'm right. So, look, last year. So, I would say, 2018 was shit. 2019 was decent, still kind of shit. 2020 was severe shit. 21 was even worse shit. Like 21's the worst one I see so far. Just so much. That's why 22 was pretty fucking shit too. It's been pretty shit. In fact, it's worse than 21, isn't it? So, you know how I said not much is changing? What is changing are things stopping being affected by other things. All of those lines I was talking about a while ago, I don't know if you heard me talking to Karen and like some of the crazy words are escaping me, complexities of how these lines are. I watched them get bigger, like more and more between 20 and 22. More, just all this shit piling on you. And now I'm watching them go like that. Okay? So the next year from 22 to 23 is nowhere near 21 to 22. Whereas like your 20 to 22 was just all the things, it starts to go like this. Okay? It starts to go like that. I'm so sorry, honey. I'm so sorry. Both of my biological parents are gone, and it's not a fun place to be. I wasn't close to my dad, but it's still not a fun place to be. But I will tell you, from here, it starts to lower. It's like you went through all that hard shit. Remember I said that Saturn was no longer in retrograde for you, meaning you came here, you did all the hard, whatever karmically you had to do, you did it. It's done. It gets easier from here. Now, the thing is, with you, with your placements, with your soul, it took a while to build up to all of this stuff, so it's going to take a little bit to come back down. But I will say that just seeing the lines from 22 to 23, from now to this time next year, it softens. It softens. Okay? That's the main change for you next year, is things kind of slowing down and softening a bit. Not as like punch you in the face every day kind of thing. So, you've done the balance. The balance is done. And now it's time for you to start loosening with some of those things. For the universe to start loosening them on you. I guess I should say it that way. Okay? Because, yeah. A lot of people, I personally think that this might be why there's such a huge split going on spiritually between people that are still in the normal world and people that are outside the matrix now, or whatever you want to call it, is because a lot of the people that are finding their spirituality, that are leaving the norm over here, their last 3 years have been absolutely, utterly horrible. They've been horrible. But they've also rocketed them forward, like literally just split like that from the norm. It is what it is. It is what it is. That help, Miss Angel, honey? All right, let me do the right things here. There we go. All right, Miss Kelly Morris. This is killing me. Like, I click on someone's name and it pulls up their information and I'm like, okay, cool. So it does it on this side, but over here it pops my list back up to the front and I'm like, what? No. Like, stop playing with my emotions. Because then my Capricorn self goes, oh God, I just fucked it up. And it has to be perfect. I'm sorry, y'all, to see that. Stop it. It's killing me, Tiff. It's killing me. It's never done that before, so that's why I'm kind of like, oh God, oh shit, stop. So every time I change something, I don't know if y'all are noticing, I'm like, motherfucker. Okay. I love you. I love you. I'm so glad I could help, love. So I kind of feel like maybe you just needed that reassurance that everything is going to get better. Because sometimes we get to the point where it's like, I can't take anymore. Like the universe can just fuck right off with all its fuckery. And then you just need someone to come along and say, hey, it's over. Things are going to calm down. It's going to be okay. Oh, thank you, Miss Angel. I appreciate that. My kids think I'm not. I don't care. I think I'm funny. But I think every Capricorn thinks they're funny. All right. Oh, I'm glad. I'm not glad that you've said that many times this year, but I'm glad that I could be the one to say it's doing that. It's calming down. Okay. All right. Miss Kelly Morris, are you ready? Let's look here. So all of your placements, you just barely have your personal power in your second house, which is in Taurus, which is also your money house. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Janelle. I'm glad I could help. Next year will be a lot better, Angel, honey. Next year will be a lot better, I promise. I promise. All right. even though like that one's just barely in your second house, pretty much everything else is in your third up to your ninth. Really, your third to your sixth. So your house, your home, your foundation, your love, your outlook on yourself, health wise, that's where the most of this is. Your romance, the most of your placements are down here in your third through sixth house. You also are very balanced. Two, 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 two. You're also, you like having balance. But you have lines everywhere in that little bitty area. You have lines everywhere in that little bitty area. Oof. Night, that's funny. Capricorns are full of goodness and grace as long as you don't push it in the Capricorn's face. That's funny. That's funny. My face is flushed. What? Oh, I'm having a hot flash. That's why. I'm trying not to. Yeah, I'm trying not to. Mind over matter, right? All right. Focus, bitch. Focus. Okay. Like you don't have any placements at all, 10, 11, 12, or 1. And like I said, your personal power is just barely in there. So one of the things also, like with, that's awesome. Thank you, love. One of the things also with the weather up and down, and like the weather here is, it went from like yesterday, it was in the upper 60s. It was fucking fantastically gorgeous, and it dropped 40 degrees last night. So today it's only been in the low 40s. It's cold as fuck. Tonight it's getting down in the 20s. That's dumb. So I had a nasty migraine yesterday, which sucks because I couldn't enjoy the weather, couldn't go outside. It was stupid. Today I felt so much better, but I can tell the temperature's dropping outside because not only can I feel it in my jaws, plus I've been talking a lot, but I get really weird auras in this eye, and it's always like bright light dots, or usually it's the bright light dots lately, or it's almost like having just a spot that's fuzzy, like out of focus. Not your whole eye, just spots. And it's dumb. It's dumb. Freezing rain tonight. Where? Here? Like Oklahoma? Like that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I reject those terms. Please come back with something different. Yeah, the auras. Yeah, they're horrible. I actually was worried I was getting the flu because a lot of people around us are getting sick. If I didn't have the auras, I probably would have thought I was getting sick. All right. Girl, you have just been turned on your head, haven't you, Kelly? Because like I said, I was talking about everything being from the 3rd to the 9th house. And then when I progress it to now, it's all, everything was over here, and now it's all down like this. Like, you have just been turned on your head. Oh my God. Okay. Let me see when this happened. Oh, 2020 was a really interesting year for you. Your moon was in Aries in that 11th house, all of the social aspects. And goddamn, it just was like, okay, I digress. I know I'm supposed to be looking forward, but I'm looking at when this 2018 was a very interesting year for you too. You go through some, oh, okay. Kelly, are you here? Is that you? Just Kel? $2015. Okay. There it is. So 2012 to 2013 is when you started getting turned on your head, huh? Can I ask you can I ask you kind of a personal question? Do you fight depression? Because I have follow-up questions to that don't have to do with that. No? Okay. So here's my follow-up question. Because what I'm looking at is almost every other year, and it's on your odd years. Your moon does this interesting thing. Now, it's funny because it does it a little bit every year. Okay. Remember how I said you got turned on your head? I'm fascinated with your chart right now, and I'm almost tempted to turn the camera around, but I don't want to show your personal information. Every other year up to 2020, your odd years, all of your lines were just kind of normal, kind of just scattered everywhere. The even years, your moon went like laser beams to every other placement. Every other year. That's why I asked if you suffered from depression, because for some reason, on the odd years, you had this weird like disconnect. And then on the even years, I need to show you. And I'll try to make sure nobody sees your thing. Because it's crazy. Okay. It's crazy. I want to show you. Okay? I want to show you. Oh my God. Why does TikTok have to change things? Okay. So, okay. So this is 2017. This is December 14th, 2017. See how these lines are discombobulated? This is kind of normal, okay? See how they're discombobulated? Watch. See? See what I'm talking about? This is 2018. Okay? See that? 2017, 2018. Watch this. 2019 is not as bad. All the discombobulation is back. Watch this. 2020. You see what I'm seeing? Now watch this. So it did this every other year up to 2020, and now watch. 2021, 2022, 2023. So do you see what I'm talking about? The laser beams? I mean, that's the only way I could explain that. I was watching it go from this, because I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. And it's always from your moon. Only from your moon. Nowhere else. Nowhere else. Oh, you're welcome, honey. I'm glad that you liked it. But you saw what I'm seeing, right? Always from your moon. When I look at now to next year, now, like I said, it's really strong every other year, but in 2020, it started being every year. This year, for some reason, it wasn't as strong. This year, it wasn't as strong. Next year, it's going to be really strong. So, when did you lose your mom? Oh, 2016? Okay. So 2021 to 2022, 2021 to now. So like December 21 to now. It wasn't as strong, but now it's right back with it. The fact that those all radiate from your moon have me really, really have my curiosity piqued beyond belief. I'm looking at your elements and your qualities and stuff like that. So this time next year, 60% of your chart is fixed. It's just determination and knuckling down, and 40% of your chart is earth. You're gonna make me pull up. You're gonna make me pull up my spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm looking at a few different things. Your soul has a very interesting purpose here. I have this feeling, and I'm gonna kind of watch your answers here for a minute. Your soul has a very, very interesting purpose here, Kelly. I have a feeling that you take on you literally absorb other people's shadows. You are like the epitome of a shadow walker without ever having to be trained to do so. In other words, you bring every broken soul within a 200-mile radius to your door. You're able to take all of their bullshit, and when they leave, they suddenly turn up, they're just like, whoop, and they turn from like the shittiest of shit person into upstanding citizen. It's like you literally fix them and send them back into the wild. But you keep their shadow. You keep that shit. You can make me pull up spreadsheets. I gotta pull up a spreadsheet. Oh, you bitch. I hate it. My computer's like, we can't find that. I'm like, oh, you bitch, you can. You can, though. Yes, you just don't want to. There we go. Okay. So let me ask you this, because I see that you say that you take salt baths daily because of this. What do you do to pull the shadow out of you? Because the fact that your moon is doing that crazy thing from now to 2023 has me a little worried. Your soul is ramping up with it. I pulled out my spreadsheet and I'm looking at a couple of things real quick. There we go. So here's the thing. You're going to have to find a way to pull that shadow out of you, to pull all of that out of you, or your meat sack is going to start breaking at an intense, super quick level. I'm looking at a couple of things in your chart real quick, okay? So what I'm looking at, I pulled up my star sheet marker spreadsheet because I made a sheet of different markers that I can look in some of the lines and some of the numbers and so on. You are all over the place. Okay? You are all over the place. What that tells me. So usually when I'm looking at someone's soul, I'm looking at their numbers, and I'm looking at the repeating numbers, and I'm going through my sheet, blah, 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 blah. It usually is pretty obvious pretty quickly. Oh, okay. So this person has a ton of 11s, so they must be an Orion. They have this, they must be this. They have 33s, they must be an Andromeda. You know what I mean? Like I see all, and that's not the only thing that makes a person that or whatever. You have so many even placements in like 6 starseed types. Okay. So here's where we get really deep. You ready? I almost said that your soul chose to come here as punishment, but I don't think that's quite the thing. I think you came here as retribution, and I think that the reason you've had so many spiritual awakenings, there's a lot of souls that came here right now to be here right now that made a deal. You're not supposed to be here right now. So I would bet, I keep fucking with my lipstick, sorry. I would bet that either your mom had a really hard labor with you, or she didn't think she could get pregnant, or there's something interesting with the pregnancy. Like you really shouldn't be here. Your soul kind of made a deal and chose to come here at this time right now and has had a very hard go of it. That's why I asked if you went through the depression first, because that would explain that, or I could explain to you why you're going through the depression. You came here to do a massive amount of shit in one lifetime, meaning that this life right now that you chose is hard as fuck. It's like level 90, and you really only should be at like level 78. But you have all the good armor, you have all the good weapons, like you're going through it. But it's hard as fuck. Okay? The souls that did this, that have such a hard time this time around, is because when they chose to come here, it's like they got time off their sentence, okay? It's the only way I can explain it. So say instead of having like 6 more lives to go after this, this is it. This is it. Like, okay, well, if I do this now and I take the hard shit and I do the things and I fight the fight and I'm here when this big massive shift is going on, can I get time off my sentence? And you get time off your sentence. That's exactly what's going on. So I would bet, in fact, I would bet a lot that this is your last time around. And I would bet that this is your last time around also, not just because of that, not just because of seeing those crazy things, but seeing how many starseed markers you have enough for me to peg you as 6 different ones. 6, meaning your soul's been around a while. So I almost would not be surprised to know that your soul kind of came back to do this. And I would bet if you had somebody read your past lives, they would say that the life before this one, there was a big gap. Big gap. So your 2023 is going to be another thing of fixing. But I will say that the lines from your moon in your 12th house to all of these other things in 2023, it goes to almost everything. The only thing that it isn't in conjunction with is your Jupiter, but that's in Taurus. And the reason it's not in conjunction with your moon is because it's right next to your moon. Your personal power this next year from now to 2023 lies in your shadow self, lies in your emotions, lies in you being able to fix all of this other stuff. So you're going to have to, like, 100% have to find a way to get this shadow aspect out of you. Not just off, but out of you. I understand this all too well. I know people that they had a tattoo put on them and they add to it all the time. Has no beginning and no end. It's like a line that has no beginning and no end. It gives the shadow aspect somewhere to be and to live without sinking in. Does that make sense? I know that sounds completely and utterly batshit crazy, but does that make sense? The shadow has to have something to soak into, something to go, somewhere to go. I'm not saying go get a tattoo, but I'm saying that's how they dealt with it. That's their way of getting it out and into something else. You have to find something creative like that that ties a bit of you into something. It's like pulling it out of all of you and putting it into one's tiny part. I know people that do things with their hair. I know people that, I mean, just things like that. I don't really know how to explain it. Every single person is different with that. Thank you, Gypsy Soul. Every single person is different. So you're going to have to find the best way. You get a tattoo every year since your mom died. That, if you're not opposed to it, it might be something to think about. It might be something to think about. Why won't it let me tap on you? Okay. So I followed you so I can send you a message here in a minute. I'm going to write your name down. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Okay. I'll send you a message here in a minute when I get off here. Okay? And because some of it just sounds absolutely batshit. So I'm like, let me just send you a message and it'll hopefully explain some more things. Because I get about this aspect all night. And it's already midnight. You're welcome, honey. Because oh, shoot. I don't mean day, I mean year. Your 2024 is better. Your 2024, it's like everything calms down. But this next year is going to be intense. This next year, okay. So I just fast forwarded year to 2029. It doesn't do it again. It doesn't do it again. So that tells me that this year is going to be the most intense that it's been, but it's also going to be the year that you own it. That you own it. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. Okay. All right. See, how many more do I got to go? Because it's midnight. Where's my thingy? There it is. There's no way you know that about me absorbing. I've been doing this a long time. So, yeah. So I have 10 more to go. I am not going to get you all done before like 3 a.m. Thank you guys. Y'all are so sweet. All right. So let me do Andrea Sanders. Or is it Saunders? Oh. I wish my lipstick was for real. Like, I hate that I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, it looks like shit. See, now I'm blushing because I'm like, thank you, love. Well, what I might actually do, because I'm going to be doing this a few more times. I only did it a couple times last year before the end of the year, and everybody asked me to do it way more. I really like doing these because I like being able to see how everybody's next year is going to go and so on. Woo, Andrea. Well, that's what I was going to say is I might just finish them tomorrow. Because I'm looking at YouTube. I've been on 3 hours and 45 minutes. So by the time I get done with Andrea's, it's a lot. Damn. So I'm looking at Andrea's. Girl, you are a complicated kid. Like, you were a complicated kid. You have a placement in almost every single house except your 12th and your 3rd. Every house. Like, I would bet you were that kid that literally was into everything. You needed to know everything. You needed to see everything. Like, even in the middle of your chart is this big square with lines in the middle. Like, you needed to see all the things. Oh, and you're a Gemini. And your moon's a Virgo. And your Mars is a Capricorn. Oh my gosh. And your personal powers in Pisces. You are a chameleon. So I would also bet that in school, you kind of knew everybody. And you're still that way. Because I fast forwarded your chart from your birth to today. You have a little, you're not as spread out. You've kind of reined it in slightly, but part of it is you're not sure. Oh, never mind. You really quit giving a shit about social aspects of stuff. Not only that, but you don't really care too much right now about how people think of you. You have lost some of that. You've lost a little bit of that drive when it comes to money and materialism and stuff. And then you've also decided you're just going to step out of your head for a while. Like, you've been in your head way too long. So you're just like, fuck that. I'm not doing it anymore. But your placements here are interesting. You have a lot of stuff in your chart currently right now in this moment that are in retrograde. Like your Mars, which tells me you're having a problem connecting to your divine masculine. Your Neptune, like your goals, how you see the world, your Uranus, your Saturn, and your communication and your personal power. Shit. I probably should have said, here's the only things that are not in retrograde. Your moon, your emotions, your Pluto, how you show yourself to the world, your sun, which is in Cancer, meaning you have a lot of emotional shit going on right now, and your Venus, your divine feminine. Okay. Let's forward 2023. Okay, that's better. So what I kind of cocked my head, I was looking. So right now, currently in this moment, 2022, when I look at all the placements in your chart, all the lines and stuff, you know how I was showing you guys some of Kelly's, how that all those lines in the middle, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the patterns, the layouts. Right now, there's this huge cross, this huge square between your personal power, your emotions, your goals, and you, like your you. Does that make sense? Yourself. It's all squared. However, next year, a year from now, the emotions are taken out of that. And when the emotions are taken out of it, okay. So what this tells me, now I'm getting cold. So what this tells me is that this year, 2022, you kind of took a step back. I have a feeling that you probably got too into either the political stuff going on, emotions, you got too much into social things, the news, social media, Facebook, whatever it is. You got way too much into it. And so this next year, like you've kind of stepped out of it slightly, right as of right now. This next year, you really step away from it. I also have a feeling that you did an intensive amount of shadow work this past year. So between 2022 and 2023. So the thing is, once you go through a spiritual awakening, it doesn't stop. It's not like, oh, I went through it that year and now it's over. No, that's not how it is. It's like grief. Like there's always an active stage of it. Sometimes it's just like the happy stage of it. But there's always an active stage of spiritual awakening. There's always an active stage of shadow work. When you start going through a spiritual awakening, you start doing shadow work. It's just little bits at a time until you full on decide you're going to do it. But I have a feeling that you started doing a lot of shadow work last year, a lot of paying attention to the emotional aspects of Andrea, paying attention to why does Andrea do this? Why does Andrea do that? Why did Andrea react like this to that? You start really going through a lot of that shadow aspects, okay? But between 2022 and 2023, you kind of take a break. And here's the other thing, and this is the other thing that I have been preaching hardcore. I have for a while, but I've really been preaching it hardcore this last year and seeing the way that TikTok has handled shadow work, and what they try to say is, it just pisses me off, okay? Shadow work is a deep, intense, emotional aspect of bringing the dark parts of you out to the surface and processing them. It's not letting the darkness out. It's integrating the dark and the light so you can be balanced, okay? You can do too much shadow work. You can. You can break yourself. So I see things on TikTok and so on, people like, do shadow work and do this and do this and do this. And then they start talking about all this other stuff. And I'm like, stop it. What are you fucking doing? You're going to break yourself. You're going to break somebody else. Stop it. You can do too much. So Andrea, I don't think that you did too much, but I think you're right on that lip. And so 2023 is when you kind of pull back and you're like, all right, I did all of this. I did this shadow work. I did this healing. I did these things. It's now time for me to focus on these things. So your communication in 2023 is kind of going to be shut off a little bit. I'm telling you that not to worry you, not to cause problems or whatever, because it's actually a good thing. A lot of people think, oh my God, my communication shut off. Like I can't talk. I can't get my words across. It's fine. You need to kind of shut down and back up slightly. And that's exactly what you're going to do this next year. And I think it's exactly what you need to do. After seeing that complexity of this last year, this year, 2022 to 2023, is much more simplified. This is getting back to you. And I'm going to say I'm proud of you for doing this, even though I don't think you have a choice. The universe is going to be like, no, you got to take a step back. I put too much on you last year. You went a little overboard. I made you go over, because really the universe puts all this shit on us. I think that this is fantastic. 2023, Miss Andrea, is going to be so much less than 2022 was. It's going to be so much easier. It's going to be more of a coast. I'm curious what your 2024 is like. Your 2024 kind of ramps up a little bit because your moon moves into Pisces, but okay. So 2023 is like a vacation year, kind of emotionally shadow work aspect. So enjoy it. Please enjoy 2023. You have a lot of things that are going to be frustrating because, like I said, you have all those things in retrograde. But here's the thing. Enjoy it. Enjoy the downtime. Enjoy the downtime. Seriously. Enjoy the downtime. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve the break. You deserve the break. Thank you, Gypsy Soul. You deserve the break, honey. Okay? So if anybody else looks at your chart and they're like, oh my God, you've got all this working against you, you do. For good reason. For good reason. Okay? Honey, you absolutely deserve the break. Okay? Yeah. You heard about me in another live? Yep, that would be me that does the warrior Reiki. I'm not doing it this evening. I do it on Thursdays and Sundays. All right, guys. So, what was that comment? I hate that YouTube won't let me see all of this. There we go. Interesting. Well, here's what I'm going to do, guys, because I still have like 9 more to go. And I need to go take my heart medicine and all that shit. Plus, I've been on here for 4 hours at this point. My brain is tired. I know y'all's brains are tired. Y'all need to go sleep. Go to bed. I'm going to let you guys go and go to bed. And what I'm going to do, because I'm probably going to be working from home again tomorrow, is get up and do these in the morning when I'm bright and fresh and early. Bright and fresh and early? Bright and peachy, cheery early? I don't know. Anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. When my brain's not doing this, blah, blah. So, yeah. Yeah. Because I have Caitlin, Joy, Lee, Jeff, Christy, Pulley. I don't know why I had to say your last name. Lindsay, Shannon, Amanda, and Deborah. So that way I can give you guys the good me. Not that I'm saying that Amanda didn't get the good me. Andrea didn't get the good me. But, yeah. Sweet. See, if you don't go to work tomorrow till 1, you can come join me. And if it's freezing rain outside, I'm not going anywhere anyway. Because I don't drive in that shit. No. I'll shut the shop down. I don't care. See, Miss Tiffany needs to go to bed too. So, yeah. All right. So, let me turn off YouTube here right at exactly 4 hours. And let me stop the old